Hello everyone, welcome to Zelda Speedruns. Today we have the Ocarina of Time Randomizer DDR weekly race. This gets restreamed once a month here on ZSR, and to help explain what the dungeon door requirement rule set is, I'm going to hand it off to our commentators, the Snarky Lesbian and Dobby Digital.
Hello everyone.
Hello. So while we're getting set up, do you want to explain the general idea of DDR, Snarky?
Okay, so DDR works the following way. Generally, what DDR is kind of a compromise between standard, like router that most people are used to right now, and no I am wrong warp. What it does is it uses glitchless logic, same as standard, so no matter how good you are at using glitches, you can solve every seed glitchlessly, but it also allows the usage of some glitches. Relatively important and like the main thing about DDR is the aforementioned the dungeon door requirement, meaning you can use all kinds of glitches, but what is important is that you enter dungeons, which specifically is a place with a blue warp. Dungeons have to be entered through the actual door that leads to the dungeon, meaning in Shadow Temple you actually have to open the door. You can't just clip in. And you have to open boss key doors with the key. The same thing also goes for the child dungeons, even though those dungeons don't have boss keys. But you have to enter the boss through that door. And that is kind of like the core thing for DDR, because there are so many boss key skips and clips for dungeons.
All right, we are just about ready to get started now.
And our runners are off. So the first part of DDR rule set, or DDR runs, tends to be quite similar to standard. In order to really glitch this game, you need access to some items. And so the first part is majorly trying to collect as many items as possible, so you can really start breaking this game.
So one little interesting thing to mention here is the assortment of players we chose for this. A couple of the players, people like Dotso and Keymaker, generally pretty good at glitching, so you can look out for them to do really crazy stuff that is going to be a lot different from standard, and you might have them immediately move outside of the logic. Then you have Amo Soda, who is very very used to playing standard and might work really well with the logic. And then you have Jin, who's comparatively new to the rules and the settings, who isn't as experienced with the logic and might be doing a really a really big assortment of tricks. So there's something special to everyone here.
To answer the question about DC, for DC as child, you need to bomb the rock that's in front of the door before you can head in, and as adult it's just open so you can walk in. I don't know the last time I've actually seen anyone do DC as child though, so that tends to not be super relevant. Most of the time people tend to just do it as adult, where it's completely open and you can just walk in.
But yeah, just to point out, the dungeon door requirement only goes for dungeons. So aforementioned blue warps, meaning you can use Navi dives or other forms of cutscene diving to get into bottom of the well, for instance, since that one does not have a blue warp. Or you can clip into GTG, for instance.
Oh, and for the boss door, it refers to opening the door that leads to the boss. So in the case of DC, it's opening that last doorway that triggers a load zone. There are some, because this is OoT, there are some ways to clip and access that early, which are not allowed. They don't tend to be super useful, I don't believe, but I'm sure Dotso has some fringe case where it might be useful.
I believe Emo just found one of what we currently call opportunity hints. That is something kind of interesting, is that we have a completely custom hint distribution right now. the way we have it set out is we have 2 Way of the Hero hints, the same way they would work for S3 or S4. We have 3 Baron hints, and we have what we currently call opportunity hints, although we've been told that we might have to change that name. The basic idea behind those opportunity hints is that they hint out specific items, but fairly vaguely in terms of in which area they can be found. Those items would be items that are generally useful, like the useful items like a hookshot, like a bomb bag, stuff like that, but it isn't necessarily a Way of the Hero item that is required to beat the seed.
So, notably, we as the community decided on a list of items that we consider good. They aren't necessarily all items you need for progression in a dungeon, but they are, in general, items that you, if you find them, you wouldn't be upset. So, it includes things like Din's Fire. I believe at one point it included Kokiri's Sword, but that has since been removed when we changed around some settings. It includes things like Hammer, Mirror Shield, bombs, quiver. So a lot of general utility items.
And as someone is asking in chat right now in terms of settings, what is important compared to the current standard rule set? Also, I just found Hammer and Deku. What is important is that I just lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, we're playing with 1 stone to open the bridge to Ganon's castle, and with 5 medallions required to get the Ganon's boss key from the Light Arrows cutscene, which makes the hinting extra interesting because finding a hammer could be Way of the Hero, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's just to finish Fire Temple with a medallion.
And there we definitely saw an example of the opportunity, as we're calling them now, hints, where it told us that Spirit Temple has an aid to the hero. So that's simply telling us one of those items that we consider good is in the Spirit Temple. It may not be logically accessible. It is entirely possible for example, a bow in GTG to be bow locked. That is entirely possible. But it does say that there is an item there that we consider useful. In general, in terms of logic, DDR needs to keep track of it to know where things could be logically. But in general, just because logic says we're not supposed to get an item, that's really more of a suggestion. Since for the most part, we're able to do checks very much out of logic.
That's actually one of the most interesting parts about the DDR for us, is that we do have more than ample opportunities to leave the logic behind very easily. However, that might not necessarily always be a good idea to do, because what we need to finish the seed could very well still be logic locked. It is extremely important for us to understand the logic, to always kind of know when we are leaving the logic behind, but there's so many opportunities to just kind of like stop caring about the logic that we always have to kind of just be wary of it.
Yeah, since there are only 5 medallions that are required, it is indeed extremely unlikely that you need it in all dungeons. I don't even know if it's technically possible, since you would always be able to skip one of the medallions. But it is possible still to get the 3 stones required. But yeah, it would be in very, very weird cases you could effectively have in all dungeons by having an important item unlike the boss.
I gotta say, I kind of love 5 medallions. What it makes Way of the Hero oftentimes a good deal harder, because you find like a Way of the Hero hammer, and it's like, what does it mean? Like, does it mean the dungeon? Does it mean somewhere else? It's always a bit difficult to say with like 5 medallion requirements. But it is a really fun setting because you actually see difference in how some people engage with the seeds. Like sometimes you have people just finishing with different dungeons the run.
Now, and it is important to note that Way of the Hero, because of the 5 medallions, as we were mentioning, they can be more difficult to interpret, since Way of the Hero hints refer to items that, if removed, become impossible for the seed to be finished. So it can't, for example, point to an item that's only useful for one dungeon to be completed, since you could skip it. But if you are able to figure out what that item is pointing to, it can give you some very, very good idea of what the logic requires.
Something I forgot to mention, because keep in mind the distribution we currently have is still relatively fresh for most of us, is songs. I think currently songs can be Way of the Hero, but Zelda's Lullaby cannot be hinted as a Way of the Hero hint. That is because generally there is some good information in having songs as Way of the Hero. For instance, when it comes to Forest Temple. However, Zelda's Lullaby is almost never a useful hint because it would always be a Way of the Hero hint in a sense. It doesn't tell us anything because you need Zelda's Lullaby in so many places in this game.
It would end up being that Zelda's Lullaby is a Way of the Hero in 90% of seeds, or if not more, since it's required for Shadow Temple, as well as very likely to be required in Spirit Temple. And it's very likely to also be required in order to access like Jabu. So there are lots of places that can be very difficult to interpret in terms of Zelda's Lullaby, and in general, we found that it's really not worth it to have. By contrast, things like getting a Way of the Hero hint for Song of Storms can be very useful, since that's telling you there's something useful in Bottom of the Well, or in one of the 2 or 3. Sorry, there are 3 other checks that require it. Technically 4, but no one wants frogs too.
I actually like frogs too.
Then you're objectively wrong, but that's okay. We accept it.
That's fair. I also think Majora's Mask is the best Zelda game.
Also objectively wrong, but you know. We found a bow too. Now, someone in chat was mentioning we do indeed have Keymaker, who's going all over the place, and clearing a bunch of checks that the others aren't doing, whereas the others are kind of cycling around very similar routes. I think that might have been Slingshot, but I'm not certain for the box.
It is kind of interesting to see them all over the place currently. Now, one major thing to again point out, I'm always just kind of like remembering differences between standard or like specifically S4 and DDR. So these things are kind of coming gradually. But got one back for Emo Soda. That's pretty nice. One big difference, other than the hints, is that we are not starting with we're not starting directly with the song given to you by Zelda. Where in S4 you have like a random starting age and you start with some kind of song and you don't have to do Zelda anymore. Resulting in you not really being enticed to the 3-song opening route. That route is still very interesting in DDR. So you're gonna see lots of people still do that.
Oh, you do see here on Dotso's side, I think the first instance of ISG. So Infinite Sword Glitch, or commonly referred to as ISG, it's a trick where you interrupt the crouch stab with some kind of interaction, usually either reading a sign or calling Navi or picking up bombs. And this causes the game to think you are stabbing every single frame. It's super useful for defeating bosses, and it's also very useful to avoid falling off platforms. Oh, did Jin use it for Goma? That makes sense. That's another one that it tends to be pretty useful to do that.
I do the same.
It basically guarantees a 1 cycle.
Oh god, that's. I gotta point
Released
out.
by a child. Excuse me, what?
Excuse
me, what?
I'm a bit tired today, so you've already noticed me kind of lose my train of thought whenever I try to explain something while seeing someone get a key item. So I was actually about to say everyone is buying a shield, team always buy a shield. And then I was looking at someone's screen being like child and was like, yeah, that makes sense.
Nice cover. So, yes, if you are on team always buy a shield in chat, press 1. If you're on team never buy a shield, Shiro, you should really be racing, but instead of being watching this chat right now, but press 2. And if you're on team, buy if it's convenient, but otherwise don't, you put in like 4.
No. Like, if you're the latter, don't put anything in chat, you bloody centrist. There was only just like one or the other.
There was no 3. I was wondering if anyone would type 3. So if you type 3, you'll have to explain what it is.
Elaborately as well.
Yes, shield is indeed, as is mentioned, really important for DDR. It's really nice for a lot of tricks, notably, as we were mentioning, for ISG. It's also useful for a lot of distance tricks. So things allow you to get a lot of movement, things like mega flipping, as well as hessing and super sliding. So it is very nice to have.
Yeah, you're probably gonna see, especially Dotso, do a lot of these tricks that involve using a shield and bombs.
Dotso has been playing this game for literally years, as well as playing bingos. And so he is very, very well acquainted with a wide variety of glitches. As anyone who has seen the strats he posts for breaking standard.
Dotso's like a connoisseur of breaking the game. And he just found Iron Boots.
Something that is nice to have, but is not necessary, especially not for Dotso.
Oh.
But
and he just failed a Hess.
Oh, he's actually going for a standard super slide.
Yeah, that's a super slide. I'm sure if you really want to explain how it works, but you're being pushed away from something you want to pick up, but at the same time, is that magic?
Doesn't he look like magic?
That looks like magic, yeah.
But yes, so the super slide is a trick where you roll into an explosion and use the iframes from the roll in order to, and that tricks the game into giving you an insane amount of speed going backwards. This results in you being able to go straight directly backwards in a very rapid rate, as you can see here. This particular version is a lot easier, standard super slide, but it only allows you to go in a straight line. So there are variations that have different caveats. You can ESS, or extended super slide, out of it, which is slower but lets you turn. And you can hyper extended super slide, or HES, that gives you the same speed as a super slide and lets you turn around. So that one is more difficult to execute.
And you have
one thing to note, however, is that
the entire time.
Yes, and you do have to hold the SS, and if you want to turn around, you have to switch between the two. One thing to note, however, is that the speed from Hessing isn't as significant as a lot of people tend to think. Overall, I think if I remember correctly from Arthur, if you do a full Hess across the entirety of Hyrule Field, it saves about 20 seconds.
I mean, he keeps saying that, right? But like the really important thing, and this is something I keep repeating, the most important thing about Hessing isn't the time it saves or like the amount of like tricks you can do with it. The important thing about Hessing is that when you do it, you will feel like you're the most important person in the world. You will feel like you are CFG. It just makes you feel amazing.
And as people are pointing out, Ruto's Letter in this, it's mostly useless. The most useful thing we can use for that is for actually QPA. That's about the most useful thing we can do for. There are tricks to skip past King Zora as child, and an incredibly easy one as adult. So in general, we don't really need. Oh, did he overshoot? Ooh.
Yep. So for clarification, QPA means quick put away. If we have a Deku stick out as child Link, and we put it away in 1 frame later, we use any kind of cutscene item, so Ruto's Letter, or Zelda's Letter, or taking damage, then Link is still gonna have the weapon in his hand. And we can use that to kind of do strange things to the damage value of your Deku stick. Like, we can use it to give your sword or your Deku stick the properties of a fire source. It's a bit hard to explain right now. It might come up at some point.
We are still hoping that we get the legendary Shadow Temple as child in one of these DDR restreams. We are hoping for it.
I thought we were still hoping for Thea Zero Requiem.
We still haven't seen that, and Dotso promised us that like ages ago.
I promised I would like practice and learn it for this month. Now I'm commentating. Easy.
It's theoretically possible for Ruto's Ladder to lock explosives, but given you can do it with chews, it's very unlikely, since any of the chew packs, and you'll be good to go. And they're like 6 or 7 or something.
And like worst case, the way to get behind King Zora as an adult is even easier. We have like multiple methods now. You can clip, and there's also a glitchless method now.
I think if I remember correctly, I think Impa might have had Song of Time? Maybe?
I think Impa had Song of Storms. Right.
Oh. Possible. Keymaker's got Song of Time marked down, and they check Song of Storms, so that might be it.
Yeah, OoT is Sarias. That can kind of mean whatever.
So Child Shadow can come up. For in the DDR rule set, you'd really need to have Nocturne, as well as for that you need like sticks and some QPA item, which includes beans. So that's super easy. But it would probably only come up if someone really wanted to do Shadow, and mostly for memes.
Yeah, more or less almost completely for memes, because you can actually finish every check in Shadow Temple as child in DDR. Some of them actually require hovers, and you're not allowed to hover in DDR. You can do pretty much everything that would be allowed in No I Am Wrong Warp, except for Equip Swap and hovering.
And some other ones, but yeah, those are definitely the 2 major ones. I think though that might also be possible to do the entirety of Shadow as child, but I believe that the strats for that are absolutely nuts.
Yeah, I've seen some. They're not nice.
The one nice thing that you'd want to do Child Shadow of adult is that in order to access the Shadow as an adult, you need a fire source. So you need Din's Fire, magic, or Din's Fire or fire arrows and magic. Whereas in order to access it as child, you can use QPA, and that skips needing the fire source at all. So that's the main benefit you get from it. But the flip side is that it's much more difficult to do.
You can check Keymaker right now, who doesn't have a way to get over there to get the Bolero check. So what he's doing is he's doing a mega side hop, rolling into the explosion of the bomb shortly before it explodes, and spamming side hop. Hello, Mad Monk Adam.
I'm sorry, I overslept.
Happens.
Definitely happens, especially
But I
on
have arrived.
snowy days like today. So for adult to access Shadow Temple, you do need a fire source, since as part of the dungeon door requirement, you're required to light all the torches. So that's why that's the one benefit you get, is that adult needs a fire source, whereas child can skip that.
What have I missed so far?
So what you missed so far is us talking more specifically about the hint distribution, but that isn't too big a problem. They already found bombs in market pretty early. Most of them, pretty much got all of them. So you can see some of them, like Jin, just get a single bomb super slide, like the pro here is. Iron boots were in the what did the cool kids call it? Like the Cavern of Destiny. Like the grotto next to market. We had iron boots.
Oh,
I think Kern did hunting for hookshot. And they got both of their Way of the Hero hints, because we only have 2 Way of the Hero hints, and they're a graveyard in Hyrule Castle. With Hyrule Castle being Song of Storms, that might mean that some of them could start actually cocoa diving into the bottom of the well.
Oh,
If I remember correctly, the from what I read, the only 3 ones you can enter without it because of the brain. I'm sorry, I'm not quite.
There's no requirement.
Yeah, no, it's bottom of the well, Gerudo Training Grounds, and Ice Cavern.
That is correct. That's because we define dungeons as places with a blue warp at the end.
Right.
To clarify, we don't define that. That's generally the Zelda community that defines it that way. Rando just decided to give a different definition. To clarify.
All right. I am here, but if you'll give me like 2 minutes, I'm going to grab a cup of coffee.
Sure, just take your time.
So one thing that is interesting that we'll see is that we did get a hint that there's a hook shot on 40 skulls. That could be really gross, since that is required in this rule set in order to access Forest Temple as well as Water Temple. So in most seeds, you're going to need a hook shot, though it is possible to avoid it depending on certain layouts.
I also want to say again, kudos to Jin for... What is he doing? Kudos to...
Oh, he accidentally... Ooh.
Oops. Kudos to Jin for being amazing at doing a single bomb super slide. The timing for that is really, really difficult. I don't know what he's trying to do right now, but... Yay.
Sadly swung.
I return.
Welcome back. So, Mr. Nintendo, which warp rule is it that needs more explaining? You can give it a shot.
So Longshot isn't so much... Well, Longshot could be required unless you have hover boots and bombs. Generally, as a reminder, standard people, I think, need the Longshot to get to Morpha in Water Temple. We have the ability to use either a super slide or a mega side hop that then puts on hover boots, or you can use the hammer as well, to generate enough speed to just bonk you over there with the hover boots. So we generally don't need Longshot, but if we don't find the required items for the slide, then we could still need it. And it's a great luxury item as well.
So I see what you're referring to. So typically in the Zelda community, most of the time, dungeons are when you talk about dungeons, notably in like the all dungeons category, you're referring to areas that have a blue warp in them. So if you think of like a Deku tree, at the end of when you beat the dungeon, you step in the blue warp and you get a medallion from it. If you contrast that to areas like Ice Cavern, when you get to the end of Ice Cavern, you just open a chest and you get the item and you're done. So there's no blue warp at the end. So dungeons typically only refer to areas that have that blue warp at the end. And so the entrance requirement only applies if there's that blue warp.
Interesting.
The main reason for this is to that it was defined this way and not to have the entrance requirement apply to all of the dungeons and mini dungeons. Is that there is a bunch of really nice tricks in order to access these mini dungeons early, notably bottom of the well, that can be incredibly useful to have in DDR. And so, since there's no medallion at the end, it feels better to have access to it earlier.
Which could be very interesting for those runners, because they might start going bottom of the well at some point. I think so far only one of them has found the hint that Hyrule Castle is Way of the Hero, which was Song of Storms. So they're probably looking for Lullaby as well.
At this point, it's still very early to be able to call who's ahead and who's behind, since so much of it depends on what you manage to find in the game. Yeah, you aren't able to use any glitches in order to enter the blue warp dungeons or to access the boss door early.
Okay, so that brings up the question. Jabu Jabu, are you allowed to clip past King Zora to get into the fountain, but not clip into Jabu Jabu?
Exactly,
that is true, yeah.
Okay. Because I've seen some very interesting looking glitches to get past King Zora, but I'm like, how the hell did you do that?
There will probably, or we might see some very interesting ones here as well. The notable ones tend to be used as child is there's what's the term? It's a camera lock. There's I forget the terminology for it. That allows you to get past it. And as adult, everyone just jump slashes out of bounds. And so yes, you are able to both jump the gap in Jabu and fall to the basement in Forest. The only requirement in the dungeons themselves is that you have to open the boss door. So in the case of the adult dungeons, this needs a boss key. In the case of the child dungeons, you can just open it.
Nor you had to carry Ruto around.
Yeah, you don't have to carry Ruto.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
You do have to carry Ruto if you want the items and Jabu. You don't actually need to carry Ruto if you just go to the boss. Like, you are allowed to just mega flip through like the opening room and use tricks to hold down the blue button to get to Baronade. But if you know, for instance, that
go ahead, Snarky.
But like, if you know, for instance, that Jabu is like foolish, or you're already in go mode, then you can literally walk into Jabu, and then like the second room, the one with the elevator, you can just mega flip over, do a rolling trick for the blue switch, and just walk immediately to Baronade. It's really it can be a really quick dungeon.
In order to reload all of those light beams. And that fills up the actor list. And so the game kind of, to compensate, has to unload some parts of the game. In this case, one of the items that it unloads is that big block that's blocking the access to the light trial. So we can use this in order to access the light trial without any of the strength requirements.
Huh.
Which is really, really cool, kind of for DDR and for like especially with the glitchless rule set, because the logic tends to sometimes like give you progression items that are just hidden behind one another in really stupid places, and this doesn't really want you to have, but you really want to have them.
Mm-hmm. So in this rule set, it's if you can understand the logic some, it's okay to break it a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's a very good point. You're perfectly able to break the logic as much as you want. But it's very important to be able to keep track of what you're doing, what's in logic and what's not. So that way you know where to look for items you need.
Right.
I, for instance, I'm like the kind of player that has to do lots of practice when it comes to the logic, because like I started with DDR. I don't really have like a great knowledge of standard, so my understanding of the logic is pretty weak, and it shows. It really, really shows. The strongest asset you can have in this game is the understanding of the logic, no matter how many tricks you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, unfortunately, Light Trial didn't seem to pay off for Keymaker, which is unfortunate. I think at one point we looked in the stats, and it's actually the most likely to have a second hook shot, but we didn't end up being lucky this time. So I don't remember at what point those were run. Those might have been using a different settings, because that was a while ago that was the case.
Yeah, I'm not too sure during 5 medallions.
Okay.
Oh, that's another thing we mentioned. Well, I think you weren't here yet. Is that the settings we're using is one spiritual stone is required to open the bridge, like the rainbow bridge to Ganon's castle, and 5 medallions are required to get the boss key.
Okay. Interesting. So you don't need all 6.
Yeah.
He could technically access them because he has Song of Time. Yes, he could grab that check. One quirk about doing the unloading trick is that it unloads the chest as well if it's in Shadow Trial, or I believe it does. I know some versions of the unloading actually do unload that chest, which means you usually have to either grab that item first, or after you unload the Light Trial, you have to reload the area and go back. But Keymaker did not do that, so he'll have to go back for that item later, or hope it's something important.
Personally, I hope it bites him in the ass, because it always does. Every time.
Personally, I hope it doesn't. I like Keymaker.
Yeah, but you know what? I also like
punished.
Keymaker, but you know what I like even more than Keymaker? Memes.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, Emo Soda just did cookos.
Yes, he did do chicken. There wasn't anything there though. I don't think.
The thing is,
there was a hint for it. Oh. I did not know that. I feel behind already.
That's a good boomerang.
Oh, nice.
My own roof.
Since we're in an area where we found out that there's a hint for it, it's probably a good time to re-mention the opportunity style hints, name pending. We have gotten hints saying that there is an aid to the hero somewhere in the river. That means that we have a predefined list of items that we in the DDR community have agreed are quote unquote good. And so there is one of those items somewhere in the river. It's not necessarily in logic. It is entirely possible to have a bow-locked bow as an opportunity hint. But there is at least something useful here.
Mm-hmm.
There's also like a goodie hint. Like we currently like call them like there's like an aid to the hero in exposition. We currently have one in Spirit Temple. So far, what people have found in River has been the bow.
I think there's bow, and I think there was something else too. Magic bow?
No, but magic wasn't Tectile Grotto.
Yeah, I thought it was in Tectite Grotto.
Not so mad.
Oh, Frogs 1 had that would explain it then.
Interesting.
So we have found both of our magics. That is still required. In addition to the things you need for the medallions, in DDR it is still required to beat Ganondorf, and so they still will need to find a bow, light arrows, and magic.
Right.
Ganondorf still gives the hint for the light arrows, however. So usually you're not too preoccupied about that. Ganon will tell you if you need be.
So looking at it, opportunity hints today are Spirit, Colossus, and River.
I think worst case, Dotso is producing clean audio. Like he's not using mic. So. Like I'm currently like watching the streams using Dotso's audio.
And I think we found our way of the hero hints. So we talk about that. So we have Graveyard and Hyrule Castle. Currently, the bet for Hyrule Castle is Song of Storms, though of course it could also be pointing to the item at Din's Ferry.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Dotso has checked the medallions, I think. Yes, he did.
Yeah.
So we know for our medallions, we have as Shadow and Spirit, we have Deku and DC.
Mm-hmm.
Jabu has a stone. Then it looks like Forest and Water have a stone. Just have to read the list. So we have for our options for the medallions, we have Deku, DC, Forest, Fire, Water, and that's it.
I think Water was foolish, I think, so...
6. Oh, and Spirit. So yeah, so we have Deku, DC, Forest, Fire, Water, and Spirit Temple. Mm-hmm. So they'll have to complete 5 of those. Logically, the Way of the Hero hints are going to be needed for at least 2 of those dungeons. So that can help narrow down what it is that we need.
Amo and Dotso doing Dampa at the same time.
Gold scale already?
Which is interesting, they also have iron boots. So now they have like all kinds of way of getting into Water Temple. We should also point out that you are allowed to cutscene dive into a Water Temple. So you cannot clip into Water Temple, but you can use like you can like stand in a very specific position that is like close to falling down the hill, and then like move forward 1 step and then pull out your ocarina, which will make Link slide down the hill into the water while having the ocarina out. But they don't have to because they have all kinds of ways of diving now. Is that not so hissing? Oh. There we go. That's hot. That's not so hissing right now. Really fast. Makes you feel like a god. That's the most important aspect. That's why we all play this game. Winning doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is feeling amazing.
Looks like we got Dotso heading to Gerudo Valley.
What? I was kind of like expecting him to do hookshot extension. Oh, he doesn't have a hookshot. What am I saying?
That does make it more difficult to do hookshot extension, yes.
So I've heard.
Some would even say impossible.
People are crazy. All the time.
With OoT, I wouldn't go so far as to say impossible, but definitely a lot more difficult.
I'm still like trying to look for a way to like slide over with just like a sword and hover boots, and it's just not happening.
Gash
No, I
just a
think you
bit
need
too
the extra
big.
speed. I keep getting emails about extensions, so it's probably something.
Those are for me. Those are like for me telling you that is like the absolute best way to cross.
Sure.
That's not actually.
I don't know why you're
true.
going directly to spam folder, but hey, we don't judge.
Because we both know that's kind of where it should be.
So Dotso actually put that setup in setup in DDR, I think like a couple days ago. It just skips you having to go all the way around. You can I think you can mega any version of mega will get you there. So you can mega flip, mega side hop. Any of those things will get you to that check a little bit easier.
Mega big brain.
We also see him now climbing back up there after checking the hint. And the main reason for that is because he wants to clip out of bounds.
Mm-hmm.
Basically to avoid that.
We'll see here, he'll void out, and this will respawn him back at the top, so he doesn't have to go all the way around.
Interesting.
Oh, and 45 minutes into the run, Keymaker's finally going into Deku Tree. So he'll finally grab his hammer.
Yes.
I see what you did there, Key. You pulled you tried to avoid the Navi text. Some habits die hard.
Oh, it's like even worse the other way around. And you're like, what? There's a text here? Yes. There's a beta quest tournament coming up, so lots of people are like trying to get into beta quest. And beta quest doesn't have a lot of the quality of life that you get in Rando, including a lot of alt texts everywhere and like Navi texts and
oh no.
If you play Rando for a while, you'll realize this game is full of text all over the place. Navi will constantly interrupt you to let you know about things.
Oh yeah.
So if anyone ever calls you like something like a rando baby, or that like makes fun of you for like being a random main, they probably have a point. Like it's something I notice every time I try to get into beta quest or when I try to do like OCS. It's just, oh my god, why is there text everywhere? Oh.
Looks like Jin is now doing chickens as well.
Which is fucking, excuse me, I didn't want to swear, which is really strange. I keep forgetting, am I allowed to swear?
Don't be excessive about it, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I think that was the general recommendation.
I'll let one slip every now and then, just don't be excessive about it.
I'm German, I have to swear a lot.
Oh yeah, that's just the requirement.
Yeah. Lots of flipping everywhere.
We're going to be getting a look at almost all of Gerudo Fortress here.
We'll also see Dotso. We'll see if Dotso actually decides to open the gate. I think he actually saved one of the things, so he probably will opt to go for that instead of clipping in. He had a bow, so I'm sure he opted to grab the Gerudo card just to do this minigame.
That makes sense.
Though you are able to simply clip inside of GTG. There's a method that doesn't require any items whatsoever.
I'm kind of surprised Dotso isn't going bottom of the well, because Dotso also knows how to do Actor Glitch. So he should be fine even without Lullaby.
And Dotso hitting 15-10 first try.
I was called like I also want to call him like a show off, but that's actually really tight. Really comments. Oh my god. You welcome rest of the world. Oh yeah, we currently don't have like. I don't think we have the settings command ready for this.
Yeah, the settings in general for this,
Yeah.
the important ones, we have 1 stone to access Ganon's castle, and 5 medallions in order to get the Ganon's castle boss key. There are also some other minor things that are changed, but for the most part, that's the major one.
Like open forest. Open Deku, sorry. We tried to actually do closed Deku for a while. The thing is, that kind of makes some sense in standard. In DDR, however, there's a lot of ways to get past Mido. Early ways that are really annoying.
Get past Mido.
Late ways that are really easy. It's just, yeah, it didn't really add anything.
Effectively, all it did to have closed Deku was it forced you to do one of a couple of tricks in order to get past him, depending how early you wanted to go and break logic.
Immediately.
I mean, that is a bunch of free checks if you do.
Yes. Exactly. And first we were afraid that that Deku being closed didn't would have specific implications for the logic. But I think Marax has run a bunch of like seeds and actually got some numbers, and I don't think it made that much of a difference whether or not Deku was closed or open.
Yeah, it didn't end up having a huge impact. So.
Oh my god, the mathematicians, engineers, you're all listening to stats, numbers.
This uses glitchless logic, so it is worth noting again. It is entirely possible to go through the entire seed completely glitchlessly. You can beat a seed using standard rule set, and technically you just beat it using DDR rule set as well. So it was deliberately designed this way so that as you feel comfortable adding more glitches, you're able to do so. If all you want to do is go through in a standard way, you can do that. If you want to just do ISG, you can do that as well. If you want to move around faster using Hessing, you can do that. But if your entire goal is to be competitive, obviously that becomes a little different, since now it opens up the possibility to glitch adds a lot of potential to the game.
That's probably a good time to mention that the DDR community, while currently racing quite a bit, isn't super competitive. We actually had many discussions about that inside of our community, and we kind of decided we didn't really want to be super competitive. Currently people are trying to have a competitive acing thing going on, but if you feel kind of interested in maybe trying out DDR, because some of these glitches look really fun, but you're kind of afraid that you might just not be good early on, don't worry. We're fairly non-competitive overall, and I think every first Saturday after the restream, so from this point, I think it's next week, we do a big DDR community bingo where we're just working together to fill a blackout bingo board. Just all of us together, not competitive in any way. It's just, we're probably also sitting on voice at the same time. So if you want to check us out, feel free to come and hang out with us. We would love to meet you.
Also, that was a really good hook shotless Silver Rupees room by Dotso.
Dotso is famous for having setups for absolutely everything. If it requires more than 2 inputs, Dotso's probably got a setup for it.
The community is honestly great here.
And if you are looking to check stuff out and to learn some more glitches, you can head on over to the DDR discussion channel over in the OTR Discord server. There's plenty of people there who will be happy to help you with any glitches you might want to learn, any weird logic quirks you want to find out. And sometimes we also discuss OoT in general, outside of just the DDR rule set. So you're perfectly welcome to come and chat with us over there if you're interested.
Yeah, generally, if you want to learn, we would also be okay with just kind of like playing with you cooperatively, or with kind of having like practice sessions together where we like directly talk to you and like kind of like help you get through glitches and all that kind of stuff.
And yes, most versions of the silver block skip in that room that I know of need hover bids. All the ones that I know of, but this is OT, so there might be others.
I think there's an entrance point that's right. And what you can technically do with just bombs. But
oh, it looks like Jin is going to chicken dive.
Finally, someone is going bottom of the well.
The infinite sword glitched.
Oh, Jin.
This is the best way to access bottom of the well, hands down. What's happening is that you're getting ISG in order to be considered stabbing every single frame. So when you pick up a chicken, every single frame that you're aggravating it. And so the second you let go, the chicken will begin that cutscene to try and murderize you to death. But when you backflip into the well, and that continues through that cutscene, it kind of lets you ignore the water physics, and you just fall straight through while that cutscene's playing.
Yeah, that's what we call Coco Dive, and it's pretty much it is the signature trick of DDR. It's kind of like the most quote unquote famous DDR thing. And if you do it, that's basically like the perfect application of our rules. And if you don't do it, you will be shamed for it endlessly. Disregard everything I said about me being non-competitive. You have to Coco Dive. That works.
Yes, also, if you are on Restream and you actually play the song to access the bottom of the well, and you play Song of Storms, we will shame you.
Yeah, we will absolutely shame you. Like, if it is night and you're like, yeah, but like, I would have to wait for daytime. You do it.
Yeah, it is acceptable to Navi dive. That is also acceptable. It's less ideal.
It's tolerable.
But, at least if you do that, we won't shame you as much.
Yeah, when it comes to that, we're actually hyper competitive. Like, you
wow.
You have to do it.
Song of Shame.
Song of Shame.
Yeah.
That's what SOS stands for. That is indeed correct, PGY. Effectively what you're doing is backflipping into the well with ISG Kuko, and that's exactly how you do that trick.
Also, yeah, if you think about it, the only enemy in the game you'll never beat is Kukos.
You can flatten those. You can flatten a gossip stone.
Gossip stones have some of the best Easter eggs.
Oh yeah, if you blow it up, it sounds like a rocket.
Shoot it into space.
Mm-hmm. Oh, but with that one, you kind of find out kind of by accident because you do tricks around them. No, you could flatten them.
Oh yeah, hit it with a hammer.
It's amazing. You never stop learning in this game. Never.
The more you know. So we will be seeing on Dotso's side, he's going to be doing a trick in order to pass through this sand without needing either the hover boots or the long shot, which are both of the logical things you need. Dotso doesn't care so much about logic. It's more a recommendation for him, if that.
oh yeah. Also,
you think of logic more as like guidelines than actual rules.
Exactly.
For a moment there, I thought he was doing the quick spin to show off, but it makes complete sense. If you quick spin or just do a spin attack in that area, it becomes easier to see where like the flags are where you have to go.
Barely need that on VC. This is so much clearer than I'm used to on N64 on my TV.
You
can actually see the screen instead of it being like pixels.
Also, did you know that if you play on VC, you can actually do Ganondorf without lag? You can actually get ISG in that guy.
Yeah, apparently there you can get ISG there. I've gotten it exactly once
Yeah.
on N64 ever. For words, basically there are some extremely rare situations where like you might need it if you don't have any explosives or anything like that. But in general, you can skip every single required strength in DDR for the most part.
Generally, like the most typical, like the most frequent way to skip strength in DDR is by using the hover boots.
Requiem on Requiem.
Pretty
We have a
legit.
vanilla Requiem. Is that a
Like a wallet, maybe, or a bomb bag?
Yeah, that's what it looks like. A wallet or a bottle.
Like a wallet, I think.
But also, yeah, I use that quick spin to be able to see in the desert all the time. Because
Yeah,
otherwise
same.
I would never make it past it.
Might be that I've been blind so far, but I don't think Jin has found anything useful in the bottom of the well yet.
Not at all.
So he seems to be debating what to do. He could theoretically, if he knows how to do it, go for actor glitch. We'll see. We'll see. It looks like he might be trying to go for it, or he might just be trying to access the back section. This is where you would do it, so we'll see.
Key and Emo doing Fire Temple.
Oh, prescription. You got the prescription.
Would be a hilarious one to find for a Way of the Hero for prescription.
Oh god. Earlier on, they had a hint. They had a hint for hookshot, but I don't remember what it was on.
40 skulls.
Correct.
Which is pretty garbage.
Yep.
Oh, so happy 1 hour, everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Good time to remind everyone that they're watching the DDR restream on ZSR. DDR is a glitched rule set that allows for a lot of the more quality of life glitches to be used in OTR, while preventing some of the most game-breaking glitches from being used. It's kind of designed as a middle ground somewhere between the standard rule set and the No I Am Wrong rule set.
Mm-hmm.
You check out the, if I could spell first, if you check out the link there in the chat there, it has a link to the wiki page in case you're curious about all the exact details of the rule set. You can also check out the DDR discussion channel in the OTR Discord if you're curious about learning more.
I'm curious. What are some of the common glitches that a lot of people see in I Am Wrong warping that would be banned here?
The most common one is bomb hovering. So it's a trick that lets you hover up in the air without and lets you skip hookshot in every single usage. That's the major one that is banned. There are also some other minor ones like equip swap that is banned, as well as collection delay, which can let you duplicate some checks.
So yeah, hovering is kind of interesting for this rule set, and that you're generally required to hover, and you're able to hover unless you're doing it from a damage source. Meaning, if you have ISG and the ground below you disappears, as for instance would in Shadow Temple, during the Truth Spinner segment, then you are technically hovering, but not hovering of a damage source. That one is allowed.
I think technically for from like the various definitions. I don't know if that actually qualifies as bomb hovering, or as most cases of hovering. But yes, it is. We have all agreed that if it happens, the floor disappears below you. That's not really your fault. It's just the floor disappeared. No way to predict that. So that is allowed. Oh wow, Dotso's actually seems either going. He's either going for the item or for the light arrows. Hint, we'll see. Oh, we can't go light arrows. Never mind.
You can't get.
He only has 2 medallion.
Looks like. That would be amazing.
Ooh. So it does look like Jin is trying the actor glitch. This trick involves going and trying to open the door at a specific time that you can see in the bottom left, while this cutscene for the crawl space is still loaded. And he actually just
got it. Yeah.
And so this causes the game to partially load the next room and partially unload the current room. And so you can see that a lot of the actors in this area are unloaded, notably the water that you can see is not splashing, as well as the bubble that's flying around, and the treasure chests are all gone. So the main benefit, you can see it just falls right through there, is yet you can access this crawl space and go and beat dead hands.
That's interesting.
It's actually some big kudos because that's something I'm really bad at.
Keymaker seems to be farming hearts. My guess is for the heat timer. I wonder if he's planning on going to Volvagia directly, or if he's planning on continuing the dungeon.
Either way, he can't go wrong with more health.
Oh, so we'll see on the top left. Dots is going for that item that Keymaker skipped earlier. So we'll see what it is. Hopefully it's nothing too important for Keymaker's sake.
It's the mirror.
That is unfortunate.
See? That's the power of memes. I told you so.
Wow.
Now that is skippable. But it is that one of those items that is required for Spirit Temple. So that's a pretty unfortunate one to miss.
Yep.
On Keymaker side, we actually just saw a pause buffered mega flip. Choose bombs in terms of the actual frames. It's technically easier to use bombs for mega flipping. However, for doing 2 mega flips, there are very visible visual cues you can use. So if you're able to pause buffer consistently, 2 mega flipping can be extremely easy to do. You just gotta wait for the 7th red flash, and then go the next red or the next pure black. You roll, and then wait for specific weird animation where Link's back is like super crooked, and you can backflip.
Also, that was a strength on Volvagia heart.
Oh, did they get strength?
Yeah, they got strength from Volvagia.
That's pretty amazing. Okay.
Also, I'm sorry, my desktop sounds are really loud for some reason.
What is you? I keep checking. I'm like, I don't see any pings. What's pinging?
No, that would be me. That'd be me completely.
OoT.
Dotso bringing along a friendo. Don't you dare hurt that dog, Dotso. Good.
Hit him. Hit him for the memes.
I'm having flashbacks to meme percent.
Meme percent? Wait, is that meme percent or mean percent?
Meme percent.
Oh, it's like mean percent being really mean to everything.
No.
Personally,
Damn.
I much prefer standard deviation percent over mean percent, but you know, that's just
god. Oh, make it disappear. You weird math people. Ah.
I just like meme percent because it makes you check more checks. Even stuff you would skip.
If you're interested in doing some checks that you would normally skip, you can also check out bingo. There are many. That includes many things that otherwise you wouldn't do in OOTR. It's a fun way if you're looking to shake things up, and instead of just always beating Ganon, you can try bingo.
Bingo's amazing. Fun.
Basically, the way we do like the big co-op community bingos is kind of like we all come together on voice. You don't have to come voice if you don't want to, but it's actually really recommendable because it's really fun. So you come voice.
Sorry, I just interrupt a second, but Jin's actually doing Mega Flip in order to access GT or access the Gerudo area's child. So if you want to check that out on the bottom left, you can go ahead now, Nerky.
Oh no! Mm-hmm. He accidentally talked to the lady.
It's fine.
You do have to be careful here to pause buffer your rolls, or else you will accidentally talk to the person.
Anyway, join us for DDR bingo. It's fun. It's lighthearted. No pressure, all fun. And you got it.
It's unfortunate. That would have been a good time, but got unlucky with just popping up, so not wanting to risk it. The guards can still catch you as child. Also, those boxes are just decorations.
I actually, one time, completely on accident, I don't remember how I did it, got over here as child. I'm like, how the hell did I do this? When I was just playing, I was trying to do something. I don't remember what I was trying to do, but I actually got over here as child. I'm like, well, this was an accident.
It's probably using there's a strat using Kukos, so it's probably doing that by accident. That seems the most likely.
Emo Soda got fire arrows, which is a fire source that you're actually allowed to use that to get into Shadow Temple via fire arrow entry.
Are we about to see Child GTG?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Child GTG is actually super good if you have bomb chews, since you're able to clip through all of those gates incredibly easily as Child. We'll likely see that, just Jin probably going through the center area and just clearing out all of the checks. There are some things you can't do as Child, notably the statues where you have to shoot the eyes. It's one of the rare checks that's actually programmed specifically for bow, and Slingshot doesn't work there.
Huh.
But yeah, DDR as Child is like really nice because you can just vine clip everywhere.
Yeah, and Toilet, I think you also can't do since you don't have access to Iron Boots. So you just saw it there on Jin's side. What it involves is that you you kind of drop you let go of the vine, or in the vine in this case it's a gate, but same idea. And on the same frame that you re-grab the vines, you use a bombchu. There's a single frame during Child Link specifically, his climbing animation, that he's clipped inside of it, and when you use the bombchu on that frame, it pushes you all the way through to the other side. And it's just due to how the climbing animation differs as Child Link and Adult Link. Child Link, there is that one frame where you're partially clipped inside.
Interesting.
It might actually look kind of difficult, but it's actually really, really easy trick. Like once you kind of get the hang of it, it's like a really, really quick to do, and you can just really quickly just skip through all of those walls.
One thing if you are trying that trick at home and having troubles, like I did, that isn't always mentioned. When you let go of the vine, you have to hold down. So you hold down and A to let go, and then when you re-grab, you hold up. If you don't do that, Link sometimes won't re-grab, and if you don't re-grab, the trick won't work.
There is something about restream seeds and the hookshot always being in horrible positions. I remember the very first DDR restream we did, and the first hookshot was on Barinade.
Oof.
And the second one was in the last check of Spirit Temple.
That was indeed. It was very entertaining.
Yes, we got amazing reactions by Happenforce.
But one thing that's interesting so far is we still don't have a lot of info in terms of our Way of the Hero hints. We didn't find anything in Bottom of the Well, nothing that I remember being critically important. And so it's still a little up in the air in terms of what those hints are actually pointing to.
Mm-hmm.
It seems now that Dotso went and did GTG a little bit earlier, but we will see now Keymaker and Imosoda going through those checks now as well, right shortly after Jin went and did GTG.
That's what Jin just got the Kurudo card as child.
And using that amazing pink tunic. I'm so proud of John.
Yeah, it is still possible. Since we don't have Zelda's Lullaby, no one's been able to check the Hyrule Castle Ferry, so we're not entirely sure. It could still be pointing to that item there. Yes, you were correct. I think Emo apparently does have Zelda's Lullaby. Yeah, Prelude check makes the more sense based on what the items everyone has right now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, because they went to Fire Temple.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think is the Forest Medallion.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed,
yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's good information to have.
I love that Jin is dilly-dallying around Fortress's child. That's a view we get quite rarely here.
Using a mega flip to get across? Or just
I might not reach.
Yeah, it's using a mega flip. It should reach, especially if he gets a distance mega.
He isn't close. Yeah, I don't think he's close enough to the edge, though.
Mm-hmm. Nope, made it.
Oh, he did make it.
Yeah, ample space.
Yeah.
It helps too that the two platforms aren't level. The second platform is a little bit lower, so that does help as well.
Mm-hmm.
That is true. Good point.
Are we going to see the very, very rare Wasteland as child?
Ooh, it looks like yes.
Mm-hmm. It's fun. We're seeing New Zelda and Jin both kind of doing the same thing, but at different ages.
7 years apart.
Well, that's an interesting way to get around.
There is also a setup you could do if you target a wall further behind, but he seems to be going for kind of a more YOLO strat. Successfully, thankfully.
One opens the gate, one just appears through the gate. Oh, Key's doing the same thing, but at night. That's actually using the letter.
Also using the letter. Wasn't he just in the chat saying how useless the letter was? I think he actually just wanted the bottle, but...
Yeah. Still, it's the perfect irony.
PGY, personally, I tend to like doing things as an adult if I have the option of doing either. Mostly because adult has some better equipment they can use, which tends to make things go faster, and tends to in general have more interesting tricks. Though I am notoriously bad for staying child for way too long, so I end up doing a lot too much.
Same.
As child.
I generally like doing lots of child checks, so I tend to stay child too long, and then I'm actually trying to fight myself staying child for too long, so I end up going adult too early instead.
The quicksand child setup is not super precise for the most part. In general, if you see a setup and it uses C up, it's either a really, really old setup or it's not super precise. C up is notoriously bad in this game for not being a very good way to do setups. So it's usually only used if there's a good amount of leeway, such as for B1 skip, as well as some versions of dot skip. You can use that as well.
No, hey, light arrows.
Ooh, light arrows.
Ooh, that's an interesting light arrows check.
I was about to say.
Speaking of light arrows being in the wasteland, the last time I saw a child in the wasteland, it was reversed wasteland during a weekly, and was commentating, and the item that was bottlenecking the seed was in the wasteland, and the person who did it won.
Nice. Jin is apparently electing not to do it.
Jin does not currently have a fire source, but theoretically, I don't know if they have the items for QPA.
Jin is actually fairly good at QPA.
I don't know if they have a bean, though. Don't know if they went and picked one of those up.
They might have letter, though.
In general, for QPA, which, as we mentioned earlier, it's quick put away. It's a trick that lets you have a fire source as child. One of the requirements is that you need a cutscene item. As child, this is super easy because beans work, but you can also use letter and the chicken. As adult, your options are more limited since you don't have access to beans that you can buy at any time, but you can still use the trade item.
That's what's making me proud. Going Jabu on a flimsy reason. Good.
flimsy reason, needing to beat the seed. Such a flimsy reason.
Yes. I don't think it was on their way of the hero location, right? He just did that without boss buffering.
That was a bomb bag on that fairy that Emo just did. Wasteland Fairy.
Those two moves.
If I remember correctly, that's actually there is an opportunity hint here, so it could very well be pointing towards that.
Mm-hmm.
That boomerang, super precise.
And yes, there is an opportunity hint for the Colossus. I still can't tell what's on that.
That's not a song, I think. I think opportunity hints can't be songs.
Alright.
I think we had an opportunity hint for Spirit specifically, though.
I don't think there are any songs that are in the opportunity hint list. So theoretically you could, but I don't think in our case we have that happen.
And even if we did, we wouldn't have Requiem on.
Now here's an interesting question. Is there a way in the rule set to do Child Spirit as adult?
Yes.
Yes.
It's actually quite common to do. You can use the most common way is to do a hover slide, where you do a super slide and equip hover boots, and you clip out of bounds and get to the child area.
You can completely skip all the child stuff in Spirit Temple as adult. Like, even for the area with the torches, that is shortly before the Iron Knuckle, you can do that one with a bow, even if you don't have a fire source yourself. Lots of good tricks.
That has to be a wallet up there on the arch, doesn't it?
I'm pretty sure I'm fairly certain that is a wallet, but I'm not. It could be a bomb bag, but I think it's a wallet.
The last bomb bag.
The one interesting thing to note, Dotso is currently he at this point I think he's in no mode, but not go mode. He still needs hookshot in order to do forest or water. So he does need to find that hookshot or a hookshot, and it seems like right now he's prioritizing the skulls since he knows there's a hookshot at 40 skulls. So that seems to be his current objective. Is rushing the progression that he needs all the other medallions while grabbing as many skulls as he can.
Also, strength on strength digging.
The big breakneck here is also that none of them has the hover boots, because the hover boots actually for Shadow Temple are a complete luxury item. We can do all of Shadow without hover boots, but for everything else, hover boots are really, really good at skipping other items. So we can skip most strength items by using hover boots, including to skip the block in both Spirit and in GTG. And not having that one, we can do all of Spirit Temple without a hookshot as a adult, but we would need hover boots instead.
Well, here's an interesting question, because Graveyard is Way of the Hero.
Yes. It could be strange.
Sorry, what was the question? I missed it.
With Graveyard being Way of the Hero, could that second strength there be the required item?
It's actually very much possible, since we have Spirit and Forest both as required dungeons. You would need the strength in Forest in order to be able to access the basement. We don't, but logically you do. And Spirit, you need 2 strengths in order to be able to access Adult Side. So that is very likely will be our Way of the Hero. It would point toward there being a strength lock strength. So that can help narrow down where one of the strengths are. but you would need 2 in logic in order to beat the game. The game, or actually no, because force only needs 1. Oh, true. We did find a strength in DC, so it can't be for forest. So it'd have to be pointing towards like 2 strength requirement, which
Or it could be used to logically get into the spirit for the spirit way of the hero.
Yeah, Spirit doesn't have a way of the hero. Spirit has like an 8.
Oh,
but that's
opportunity.
still,
Right.
yeah.
So to be
That's
fair,
still likely a good item.
it is possible that the aid to the hero that we found there, it could be a way of the hero item as well.
Yeah, it could be a hook shot.
It could be hookshot, and hookshot
If
is
it's hookshot, that'd be
definitely way
amazing.
of the hero in this case.
Which I think personally is relatively possible. I'm not sure if... I think for logic, like 40 skulls requires you to have a hookshot, I think.
I think
No,
40
no,
might
it's-
require boomerang,
it's-
but not necessarily hook.
It is possible to get to 40 skulls without a hook shot. It's just a lot of out of the way skulls.
And I
Also for
kinda
the
would've-
swag, just mega flipped there and saved maybe 2 seconds. I appreciate the swag dot, so.
And I would also kind of be expecting to get a bottle. Way of the hero.
Hey, any second save is good.
So Composer's Grave is actually vanilla.
See some flame storage from Emo Soda.
I think that's not quick enough. Oh, it actually worked. Interesting. More bombs.
So see, we also have a way of the hero for graveyard. So we still need to figure out what that is.
Just a moment.
Was there another strength in the
It was in Dompe
in
Digging.
graveyard?
Yeah, Dompe Digging. That's why we're talking about it.
Oh yeah, so it could be the 2 strength required, locking the 3rd strength. That is possible, though we still need to. That would still mean that there's something in spirit that would be required for another dungeon.
Also, now you have to shame Emo. Since you said it already, you had to shame Emo. He said he played the song to get into the well.
Yeah, they did indeed play the song, and that is not allowed in DDR. It's actually banned. We're kidding, but in our hearts, we're not.
Alright. Did I miss anything?
Yeah, Emo played the song to get into Bottom of the Well.
Oh my god. I mean, in all fairness, Emo is new to the rule set. So we might excuse it.
Yeah, we might forgive them just this once.
Might.
Just this once, though.
You can infinite sword glitch off of the Iron Knuckles Navi information.
You can get ISG of every Navi information.
Yeah, it's quite useful to do that. Though one thing that you notice there is that you can't actually target the Iron Knuckle until after it's been triggered to stand up. So unfortunately, you can't just get ISG and then beat the fight. At least not with the Navi text. You can still use bombs to do so. So on Keymaker's end, he just went for a 2-bomb super slide, which is the more common way of doing a super slide. You have quite a good way with a bit of leeway when you do that.
Double D's on the Colossus hand.
Probably isn't the 8.
On behalf of Axe, titties.
Is this the moment where we actually like discuss the most important question of Runner Guys Discord? Which is kind of one of the places where it's like, where does this entire rule set kind of originated?
No, it's fine. We can save that for RG's Discord.
Coward.
Keymaker very intent on waiting for this skull. There you go.
I always love seeing good skull routing.
Don't check out my stream.
You can kind of get ISG from pretty much almost everything. You can get ISG from picking something up, like a bomb, for instance. You can get it from reading a sign. You can get it from talking to an NPC. You can get it from a Navi text. It's just, it is amazing.
You can also get it the first time you pick up an item. That text box can also trigger ISG. One thing that is unfortunate, you can't get it from Skull tokens or Skulltulas in general, since there's no Navi text when you target a Skulltula. You can still target it for the purposes of, like, you know, throwing boomerang and hookshot and shooting hookshot and stuff like that. But there's no text, and so you aren't able to use that for ISG.
Lots of blue rupees for that, so.
Yeah.
Which at this point in the run is actually kind of surprising, since the Dotso does have most of the capacities, or most of the things that would drop blue rupees if you didn't have them. So those are actually just blue rupees.
Which is amazing to have a big item on 40 skulls and nothing else.
Sounds about right, actually.
It's basically the seed going, you mad, bro?
We'll see. On Keymaker in the bottom right, he's got Ruto's letter out, so he might be going to empty that bottle, since he does need one for in order to access Jabu. The dungeon door requirement for Jabu means that you have to show him a fish. And in the cases of you only having Ruto's letter, that means you have to, actually empty the bottle in order to do so.
Right. Also,
I mean,
the way Dotso just got down into the bottom of the well, that was very interesting.
Oh,
he did it. He stood on the edge with the infinite sword glitch, then read the sign and kind of just dropped.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that's using another cutscene. Most cutscenes in the game will have that property. Did he do blank A?
I don't know what he did, but it worked. Whatever it was.
He drop into the water there?
He had to have done like blank A. Let's ask God.
He still had infinite sword glitch. He rolled past the bubble and just kind of fell into the water.
That sounds like blank A. So my guess is, while we weren't looking, he did a 1.0 exclusive trick where you can interrupt, like, crawling into the thing. You interrupt the crawling animation and you, like, pull out a stick and then interrupt with a Deku Nut, and it causes a bunch of weird stuff to happen. But the most important one is that it makes Link's hitbox all wonky. and it lets him clip through water, and it also allows you to clip into certain spaces that you wouldn't otherwise. There's a really useful blank A strat for getting bottom of the well choose in vanilla that is very useful for bingo when you're using on N64.
Been using potentially the quick way down to the Runia's room. And he got it. You can mega side up into that room quite easily.
So that's a very interesting way to get past the water.
It's a very interesting one since if you do that trick and you want to like grab all three of the items, you have to blank A 3 times, which can be annoying and is pretty slow, but in rare circumstances could be worth it.
It's also going for all the keys so you can get all the skulls.
The interesting thing about this requirement is, for someone like me, I would probably try to not get the skull toilas. I would be like, oh, there probably is like an easier hookshot to find somewhere, and in the end, it would kind of
The whole sea
bite
trying to
me in
find
the ass.
Dotso also, in addition to being a wizard when it comes to glitches, is also quite knowledgeable about the logic. So it's possible that he might have read into the logic and knows that the other hook shot is somewhere absolutely disgusting.
Entirely possible.
It could be in Shadow. Last time we had that problem, it was in Shadow. We recently did like a seed where it was like Dotso was trying to teach us more about the logic in the 1 stone 5 medallion settings. And that one basically required you to get Din's Fire to open Shadow Temple and get the hook shot inside of it. Or it didn't. 20 skulls had the fire arrows, I suppose.
As with a lot of things in DDR, most of the time when we say requires, it's really synonymous with very strongly suggests. Because usually there's something you can do to avoid it.
We very strongly suggest you have this item.
Yeah, I don't know. Like logic in DDR is like, there's a wall here. It's gone now.
It's gone now. I'm banging my head against the wall. Whoa, for so long it got knocked down. Basically, everything you can do in Ocarina at a time that's a glitch is somebody banged their head against it for so long it finally just knocked down.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, that sounds pretty accurate, yeah.
Also, I didn't end up with coffee, but I did got breakfast tea.
Nice. What
English
is the time
breakfast
where
tea?
you are? What is the time of day where you are?
11:44 a.m.
Ah, that's
I
really
overslept.
It's 6 p.m. for me.
We do tend to
I didn't
have
sleep
quite
a
a
lot.
diverse time zones when it comes to the OOTR community.
Central.
There you go. So on the top
Yeah.
left, Dotso did indeed just blank A again. So
Yep.
You'll see here, just straight through the water.
Well, so that's how he did it. That's interesting.
There is a
But
way
as soon
to
as he
cancel
opens
the
the
glitch,
chest,
though.
it goes away.
I didn't know that you could do this, but Dotso has mentioned previously there's a way to cancel blank A. It looks like he pulled out a bomb to do so.
So he has a Kokiri sword, so why not use it? Oh! out of bounds. It's interesting. So it looks like he's stuck.
No,
Oh, there it goes.
he's getting into a specific area on there.
This is usually you usually do this trick in order to access the Bombchu chest. So not sure which area he's actually trying to access right now.
He's getting to Dead Hand.
Oh, he's going Dead Hand.
Oh no, he's going back here. Oh no, he's
And
vine
going
clipping.
Bomb Band.
Yeah.
There you go. Yes, a lot of glitches are allowed. This is using DDR rule set, which is kind of it's a glitch category between No Am Wrong Warp and standard. So most glitches you'll encounter are allowed, but there are exceptions.
Yes, it's called Dungeon Door Requirement, but it's colloquially known as Dance Dance Revolution.
Yes.
Do we still have like an emote for that?
I don't think it's on the Discord, but I don't think there's an emote in here.
Damn.
Man, someone needs to get on that, adding that emote to Twitch.
Trust go when we need them. Give us.
We'll have to make sure to at Tresco. It's clearly a very pressing issue that must be fixed immediately.
Someone used 50,000 rupees and summoned Tresco.
That's almost as important as like we currently have rainbow as a swing color for your sword, which is like double beautiful if you play with ISG because you see that swing the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
What we really need is like the trans flag for your sword swing. It's actually extremely important.
I think someone that was in the suggestion channel. Someone suggested that, so
yeah, I did.
CSR blame Tress.
Yeah, I have like the highest priorities. This is really important. Wait, there's actually like something where you can summon Tresco.
there would be.
That is amazing.
Yeah, you use 50,000 channel points and you can summon Tresco, and then we go and add him at the Discord until he shows up.
That is an amazing function.
Oh, is that? Which one's that? Is that?
You think
oh
that's
my
amazing?
God. So Emo just checked the Castle Fairy, and it was Lens of Truth.
Oh God!
Ooh.
Could we have Way of the Hero for Lens of Truth? That would be
Oof.
painful.
That
all
would
of the
hurt.
logic tricks excluded. So that would be pointing very heavily towards the lens minigame, which Emo is currently going for. Let's see what it is.
Which wouldn't be too surprising either, because we already found something good at market, which was bombs. Oh my god, I can't wait. I want to know what it is now.
Get your lefts, rights, and chats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Good
5 rights.
No.
Oh,
Always
that's
go
actually
right.
good too. Come on. Oh, right.
Always go right. You can't go wrong with right.
It's always right.
No, always go to the left. Just
Oh,
not,
you
just
would've
not,
lost
just
already.
not in this game. But otherwise, always go to the right.
Rip all right.
The qualifier 11, I believe it was, that I commentated, it had all right.
Imagine
That's a big hog right there.
It was all might. Yes, I made a horrible joke. I
Good,
do.
All right. Okay.
good. Keep doing so. It is a hook shot!
Yes.
God.
It is a hook shot!
That is amazing.
Wow.
Actually, Way of the Hero lens to get hook shot.
Wow. Oh,
Oh, that is something.
that
It's
is
according to the logic, it does block 40 skulls. That is insane.
Well, that's not necessarily the trade case. It could also be that you need long shot. Since Water Temple is a dungeon, You need long shot there, bare minimum.
Okay, but you're not. That would mean that something really, really good is on Morpha.
No, because
No.
Water Temple is foolish.
That is kind of strange then, because water, like just one medallion being required.
Well, that's why
It
it's
has to
possible
hide
that
something
it's somewhere
else.
else. That it's possible that there's another required long shot somewhere else.
The right hand in spirit, the child hand, yes, it was double defense.
Oh, so that's clearly the important item.
Mm-hmm.
The most important item, really.
So yeah, Dotso is the resident wizard when it comes not just to glitches but also to logic. And I can't wait for Dotso to actually explain the logic to me.
Yes. That's usually what it involves is we
Why
wait
is
in the
that
race channel
hookshot
for Dotso to explain the
with
seed to us.
I'm actually waiting for Dotso to go to Fire Temple and beat it. Get Zelda's Lullaby and then go to the Castle Fairy and go, oh crap.
The interesting thing is he doesn't even need that. Like there is a way to do the chess mini game without lens. It's just really uncomfortable as well.
Just roll 1 in 32. It's good. Yeah.
Yeah, just 1 in 32 it.
Technically, you can also do it with Sun Song,
Yeah.
which they have found. So you would be able to skip that if you knew that the item was in market. You can use put away OI, where you put away an item and then the next I think you need to get a blue bottle and then you put away the bottle and quickly use an item the next frame, and that has you playing an ocarina or a fake ocarina.
Yeah,
This plays Sun Song inside the lens minigame. And when you do that, it puts you back at the start, but you keep all of your keys. And you can, you don't keep all your keys, but all of the doors stay unlocked. And you are able to talk to the lens guy in order to purchase an extra key. So you are guaranteed with like 10 rupees to be able to complete the whole thing eventually.
Yeah, that's what I was actually referring to, not like to the chance of just trying it out.
Yeah. So you could do that, or you could roll the 1 in 32. I mean, depends how much you want your YOLOs.
Has Dronakai actually done it yet? In his blindfolded run?
I'd have to check. He, I think he might have, and it got insanely lucky.
Clever!
You can just
Is there a
check the
command?
stats.
That sounds like work. You should do that, you're the math person.
Oh, and on Nemo's side, I was trying to see. Looks like they've already marked off the Forest medallion. Or the medallion from Forest, I should say. Though they haven't actually gotten it quite yet. So they might be in go mode. Because they don't have the item for Spirit, but they have everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting because Imosoda is indeed missing an item for the last medallion. For what they would need either a long shot or hover boots.
Purple was asking where the lights are. I'm sorry for interrupting.
Oh, I see. Yeah, Wasteland.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh, that is true, though, Snarky.
Castle.
Does need one more item before go mode.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the chances are that I don't know how good how much Imosoda knows about the skip so far. Could be that they know how to super slide, but either way you would have to find one more item. Whether that is hover boots or the long shot, which is probably the most likely because they have been collecting Skulltulas.
Light arrows are not behind Mir in this case. Light arrows are in Wasteland. So And so technically, Keymaker could grab them right now. Not even glitchlessly, because he's got fire arrows and magic. Could also do it as child with QPA.
Yeah, I think Keymaker is kind of like in trouble because Keymaker already went to Ganon's castle, but forgot to get one of the checks. The one in Shadow Temple.
Is this the first time Jin is going adult?
Yes, 2 hours in. That sounds about right.
That sounds like Jin, right? Yeah.
Well then,
they can be forgiven because they showed up some amazing tricks.
One thing to note that Imasoda actually didn't do this time. There is a trick you can do in DDR to catch a fish in a bottle in a certain frame, and if you do that in this main room here, while the Poe cutscene is playing, you regain control while that cutscene is still going on, and you're able to access the basement before you're supposed to be able to. That's useful in DDR because it means you can get to the boss as soon as you find the boss key. It also means that regardless, you're able to skip fighting the last 2 Poes as long as you're careful, because you can accidentally undo that glitch.
He also has the hookshot.
Pushing those skulls really hard.
When did Key get hookshot?
They about 2 minutes ago, 3 minutes ago.
Yeah, fairly shortly.
Oh, Key's doing that pick up the fish thing you were talking about.
Yes. He's kind of doing a different setup than I'm used to, but there's an easier method to do this than like the way he's doing it right now with like a sword swing. And he failed. Yeah, same as others. Apparently going still for the Skulltulas to get long shot, at which point they would be in go.
And Keymaker, we actually see going for that trick that I just mentioned not that long ago.
Yeah.
But both a very interesting setup.
Yeah, that's actually the setup that you'll find on like ZSR. It's a very old setup.
Well, most setups on ZSR are a bit old.
The best way to find up-to-date setups is to ping Dotso. But otherwise, you can check.
Dotso's going to be like, why am I getting all these pings all of a sudden?
But you can also check. YouTube's got a bunch of it. ZSR usually also has like some decent starting points, so you can check for explanations of the glitches. Because a lot of times the YouTube videos won't have great explanations as to why it works. You're curious.
It's also in the DDR, like in the ZSR Randomizer Discord and the area of the DDR discussions, we have pins for certain tricks. We have one big tricks document that is like semi-regular being like maintained by me. That one has like links to lots of videos, kind of like divided by area. So there's lots of names out there, like lots of people that are having really good setups.
Key is putting a lot of time into this.
Yeah, using an extremely old setup for this.
Honestly, in the time they've been doing this, they probably could have finished half the dungeon.
It is one of those things that I think it can, assuming you do everything well, it saves you bare minimum having to beat the green Poe and the purple Poe.
Mhm.
So it's always good to get
You
it,
got it.
but can save you
Got
more than that if you get lucky. Because all you need to do is find the boss key.
He actually got it. Yeah. As you can see, he's regaining control during the cutscene, and she's just running to the elevator.
And we'll see here if it ends up being that the boss key's in the basement. We'll see like a very good example of how fast this can make for us. As you see, Emo has entered the dungeon a while ago, and is still going through it, whereas Keymaker took several tries, and is just now in the basement. But could, if he gets lucky with the boss key placement, could actually beat the dungeon before Emo.
Mm-hmm.
On the other hand, if it gets unlucky, then it can waste some time. So we'll see.
Well, generally, this trick almost always saves time because it's so useful. Because even if you don't find the boss key down in the basement, you can just take the elevator back up. And as long as you don't void, use FW, die, or like save and quit, that elevator just stays up. So you can like continue doing the rest of the dungeon. And should you find the boss key, you can just go back to the main room and just use the elevator. Well, it's in the bow chest.
That's a big oof for Keymaker, but it's still set up for when he comes back here.
Mm-hmm.
And you might still save time.
Mm-hmm. So happy 2 hours, everyone.
Happy 2 hours. Remember to hydrate.
As we're hitting the 2 hours, it's probably a good time to remind everyone that they're watching the DDR restream over on ZSR. DDR is a glitched rule set that allows for that's specifically designed for Randomizer. It's somewhere between standard and no I am wrong work. Allows you to do a lot of quality of life glitches while banning some of the most powerful glitches in the game. If you're interested in learning more about the rule set, you can check out the link that is in chat once I figure out how to correctly spell DDR. It's in the name, you'd think I could figure it out, but you'd be wrong. You can learn more about the rule set there. You can also check out the DDR discussion channel over in the OTR Discord and ask around in there.
It seems Dotso's about to get the last few skulltulas for the hookshot.
Mm-hmm. Also, shout outs to our trackers, which are
shout out to our trackers that are amazing.
No Pen Name Girl and Purple. And shout out to our restreamer VXR. For our racers today, we have Dotso, Emo Soda, Jin, and Keymaker on Restream.
Did post that. Perfect.
But no, I thought it was really funny. You said it allows for a lot of quality of life glitches while Dotso is super sliding.
Yep, it's super sliding is one of those very nice things. Gotta go fast like Sonic.
Also, ISG, like it's really important that while you are getting ISG and running into enemies, that you keep repeating the mantra of like the amazing skill you're showing in that moment. Skills like skill, 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 skill. Oh, he's unloading the grave.
One thing to note, though, if you are interested in learning ISG, which is probably one of the first glitches we'd recommend for people, since it's quite simple to do, incredibly versatile, but it's really not on its own very game-breaking. So if you're just interested in just speeding up your casual play, ISG is a good one to start with. One thing to note, though, is that it is possible for your ISG to get canceled if you happen to swing your sword or take damage while you're not moving. This will cancel the infinite sword glitch, and you'll have to get it again. Also, shielding will also do that.
Oh, so that's what Dotso... I was trying to figure out what Dotso was doing. He was trying to make the tomb unload.
Yeah. It's the same thing as in Ganon's Castle. If you keep back walking to the area that would help you run into Shadow Temple, then moving back, you're basically unloading and reloading the grave, and you're kind of filling the heap up until the memories just fall and unloads the grave.
So it's actually the rain that you're reloading, but yeah, same principle. Though that's a very odd one in that it works differently as child and adult. The number of times you have to reload varies based on how many actors happen to be in the room at the time. So it's an interesting one, and one that if you play Beta Quest can be a very love-hate relationship.
That's everything in Beta Quest.
Beta Quest in general.
Speaking of, Beta Quest tournament starts in 4 days. I think.
Yeah, there are more poses as adult, but as child you have the kid who's there. So it varies. I think you need more. You need to unload more as child than adult. There's a difference, and I can never tell you how many there are. People who are better at bingo know also.
The child thing is super irregular. The one for Ganon's Castle, I think is 19 times that you have to reload the beam itself. As adult in Graveyard, it's 17 times. Yeah, I think it's 17 times. As child, it's kind of random. Super all over the place. Dotso want to get his hookshot.
And for Dotso, that will actually put him in go mode. Since he has the mirror shield, he can complete Spirit Temple. So he does not need hover boots or long shot. One good thing for him though is he's also doing fire first. This will give him, assuming he goes to the Temple of Time, this will give him the Zelda's Lullaby, which might be needed for boss keys. So it's still going to be very good for him.
Mm-hmm.
You can get past, the most common strat to get past there uses hover boots, but Dotso also is familiar with how to get past there using just bomb shoes. So we'll likely see that him do that in Spirit Temple.
Yeah, so it's quite a bit ahead of him.
We also saw he just did a very actually pretty easy clip in order to get past those blocks. You can just get in the corner, do a side roll, crouch up twice, and then just jump, and you get past that. It's actually faster than pushing the blocks.
Though he will be picking up a second strength from Fawagia, so he won't need to do that.
Oh, that is true.
Oh yeah, the strat past the block. There is a way to do it with choose, where you have to get into a very specific area and then do a mega side up in a very specific frame. That one is actually really, really easy if you're on VC or in general on console, but insanely difficult if you are on emulator because of the pause buffering.
If you're interested to see that strat, I think that's probably one that's in that document that Snarky mentioned. Cause it's definitely been posted in the discussion channel.
Yeah, if not, I'm gonna add
it. Since now that Dotso will have strength too, so he might not go for that clip because Dotso doesn't like fun.
Yeah, it's actually
he wants to go fast in a race.
I might have done it during last restream. I'm not too sure anymore.
Also, probably a good time to mention that the color for the tunics for Dotso's mirror shield, nice. I do like it.
Mm-hmm. The 11th qualifier, someone had it as pure white, and it just looked amazing.
Ooh, that would cool, super cool. Yes, purple is indeed correct. Swag strats are way more important than actually going fast.
I agree. It's all about showing off those amazing tricks.
There is no point.
Especially, what is the point of being on Restream if you don't use it to show off amazing swag strats?
So looking at where all the runners are at. Excuse me. Emo now has 34 skulls.
So it could actually be a close race between Emo and Dotso. Dotso is in go mode, but he needs to complete several dungeons, whereas Emo has done a lot of dungeons and just needs to get the long shot for the last goals for the long shot, and then do Water Temple. So it could be actually be pretty close between those two.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, true. Dotso also still needs to grab the light arrows. It's going to be super easy to know where they are, though, because they're in Wasteland. So Ganondorf is going to point you to literally the only check in Wasteland.
You'll never find the light arrows in this singular check in this area.
Yeah, you won't be able to guess the literal one spot in the game.
Oh, there it goes.
I'm really interested to see between Emo and Dotso who's gonna finish first.
Mm-hmm. All right, that's fair. It is a very big place, but there's only one check in it, so it's. He had the right idea. He picked the wrong location.
To be fair, Ganondorf should have just gone and taken those light arrows from that chest and just thrown them in the wasteland. Just there's a bunch of void zones. Throw them somewhere there.
Or we've just
GG,
buried them
game over.
under the sand.
If bad guys were actually smart, then none of the Zelda games would be finishable.
You're not wrong.
Like, who puts the one weapon that can defeat them within the same dungeon?
Oh, like the other side of the door, right?
Also, just keep the key on you. You're good to go. The boss key in your pocket. GG.
Swallow the key.
Until you get to the people who glitch in.
I'm gonna glitch into you and reclaim that key.
If you encounter one of those people, though, it's just GG to begin with. So
that's fair.
Light arrows are in Wasteland, so it'll be very easy to know where they are.
Oh God. Oh God. Now I just having horrible nightmare visions of linking Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time and having to complete both at the same time.
Something, 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 decomp.
If one wants to truly own, they must own at all games.
How did you manage to get in here? I have the key. I broke the laws of physics. I agree.
If you stare at the Bombchu for long enough, the Bombchu stares back at you. That's a good feeling.
If you stare into the void long enough, the void will stare back. Oh, Dotso's going to be checking a lot of stuff now, still looking for those light arrows.
No.
Yeah, he might be hoping that he can just run into them.
Which is quite interesting, actually. I would expect Dotso to just kind of like finish the dungeons up as quickly as possible, just rush the hint itself.
It could be that he's just trying to hope he runs into them. He also has water can be really fast, probably faster than Spirit done optimally. So if he gets lucky and runs into one of the two items he needs, then he might opt for that instead of Spirit.
Mm-hmm. And yet with Silvers, he's just not going to bother skipping the block.
See,
full shame.
More interested in going fast than swag strats.
I'm pretty sure last time I was on a restream, I had strength 2 and I skipped it anyway.
That's the real way you should do it.
I think I also waited for daytime to do Kako Dive because
I remember you doing that, and
this is the way. This is the way. The only way.
Emo forgetting which one's the 40.
Every time.
Every time. But he now has long shot.
So that means that they are now in go mode. So that is fantastic. Can now do Water Temple. Won't need to have to do anything too fancy in Water Temple itself, since they have Iron Boots and Zelda's Lullaby. So won't have to do. We'll just basically have to go through it till finding the boss key.
Mm-hmm.
Jin, meanwhile, just super sliding stoically.
Jin went back to child.
Yeah, of course.
He was adult for later, like 20 minutes.
I don't need this adult
for less than 20 minutes.
So many responsibilities. Let's leave all of this behind.
You guys know you have to do taxes and stuff? No.
I'm gonna go play around with this fish.
He's gonna Peter Pan it.
Oh, Java time.
Another interesting thing that now that Dotso's in Spirit, we did have an opportunity hint in here. So we'll see what item that's pointing to. It could also help us figure out the way of the heroes, because currently it's looking like it's pointing towards strength.
Imagine,
or at least the graveyard one is pointing towards strength.
Right.
Either way, if we're lucky, we might see Dotso do the statue climb.
Yeah, it's very likely that we'll see statue climb. Yeah, but you have to be adult to complete Fire Temple, so I don't think that's happening anytime soon. Jin seems very intent on everything child.
But yeah, it's like this situation right now is like, oh
Hey,
yeah,
look,
fuck,
Papa
it's over
Bears.
boots. This
There's
situation is
that
actually kind of
opportunity.
interesting because it really shows that the most important thing in DDR is still understanding the glitchless logic. Like, Emo Soda probably can't even do like a third of the tricks that Dotso can. Partly because Dotso is like a trick wizard, but also because they're relatively new to like the whole rule set. And yet they are like in the
Pretty
leading
much,
position
yeah.
together with Dotso. This shows you like the biggest power you can have in this is logic. It's bad for me because I hate logic so much.
Yeah, the hover boots at this point aren't going to be required for anything. We will see though, because that does unlock the ability for Dotso to complete Water Temple. So we'll see if he decides to go for Water Temple or Forest Temple. And honestly, I have no idea which is the two.
It really depends on what he thinks he can do faster.
Okay, people who are better at spelling DDR than I am. So DDR is, as the name mentions, a dungeon door requirement. It's a glitched rule set that somewhere between No Iron Wrong Warp and Standard that allows you to do a lot of quality life glitches while still banning the most powerful glitches in the game.
Also,
I think
believe
that's
it
what's
was
going
just
to be.
in fire
climbing.
from Keymaker there.
Yep, that's what's going to be Sasha climbing. He took the path away from the actual way you should go. So check top left to see how DDR deals with this.
Not like that.
Look, you should have gotten IG.
Oh yeah, behind Strength 3 was Din's Fire.
Awesome. Useful.
Why aren't you just? Oh, it's because he played it. I'm like, why aren't you just using the pad? But that doesn't work if you've already played it.
Yep.
So this is another example of the dungeon door is required to get in correctly, but you can get to where the dungeon door is with glitches.
That was an extremely quick climb.
Exactly.
Yes.
It's a very, very good point. It's very similar to the Jabu situation. You can get to the door as fast as you want, but you still got to open it.
It's also the same thing with Shadow. We're not going to be seeing Shadow because it has a spiritual stone. But you can use the hookshot jump to skip having Nocturne, for instance, to get there. But you still have to open the door.
Mm-hmm.
It's just impolite not to. You gotta knock before you come in. Come on.
Also, still no boss key from Water Temple yet.
And still they are ahead.
Yeah, at this point,
really, really tight.
At this point, we can definitely say that Emo is ahead of Dotso, especially since they already have the light arrows.
Mm-hmm.
But Dotso is not super far behind. Still needs to complete one more dungeon after this. So it's probably, depending on how lucky they get with the options, like 5 minutes behind. Plus, so shouldn't be too bad.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. It'll be an interesting finish.
And yeah, this is like one of like the interesting things like that you're always gonna see in like 1S 5M settings, especially in DDR, is people doing different dungeons.
Mm-hmm.
Like the paths to winning are actually going to look different between people.
And it's just entirely based on what they found. Dotso found Mirror Shield, so made sure to so did Spirit Temple, whereas Emo found the other hook shot, so opted to do
Water.
Forest and Water.
Which, honestly, as pen name girl pointed out, barren water that forces you to clean it to get on the boss key always happens.
Yeah. It's very rude.
Water Temple hates you. Just being honest.
Crap. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
kind of
well-
considering what I would do, but I would probably also go water instead of forest.
Yeah, I think water. Because it a lot of the stuff is like front loaded. Like a lot of the checks in water are front loaded. I probably would opt for water instead. So Dotso's doing forest. It looks like.
Mm-hmm.
In all fairness, if Dotso was using a Dance Dance Revolution pad to play this game, he probably would still win every time.
So apparently not, because Emo Sabu is still is ahead of him.
I'm sorry. I'm just imagining somebody sitting there and dancing furiously to swipe the sword.
There's a great emote for that.
Especially considering Dotso. Like, I don't know how Dotso looks like, but I know their voice. I'm just kind of imagining that right now.
Oh.
I feel like a really deep sigh every time.
Pushing the Armos statue to get to the Skulltula here in Dodongo's Cavern. Oof.
Oh boy, doing the push. That's a meme. Right there.
Ooh!
That's some memes.
Push of shame. I mean, we want people to show off like stuff that you never really see. That is definitely a rarity. That is uniquely slow.
It's there's no item up there. It's a Skulltula token. So
It's just a token.
we honestly have no idea why he's doing this, other than if he's real
This is
desperate. for
Skull
skulls.
Sanity.
Or the memes, obviously, but which is also a perfectly valid reason.
I wouldn't push the
Or
Emma
the
statue for the
always
memes.
reason.
Yeah, even then, Keymaker has a bow. So if the key shuffle or the dungeon skull shuffle is on, you'd use the bow to actually see what that item is before you push the statue.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, that is a good point. Technically. Also, hi Egg. Hopefully moving went well.
Eggmeister!
We'll see if he does do jungle jump. That's a good point. That would be mad, especially since I think if you screw it up, that you'll have to undo the elevator, won't you?
Yes.
I'm simultaneously curious and terrified.
Going reverse.
Also, songs are hard.
Songs are indeed the hardest part of this game.
5 worst enemies in the game. Songs. Everything in Water Temple.
I actually think Water
I
Temple is very
choose-
easy. There's actually lots of tricks you can do in Water Temple in DDR, like lots of them. Like you can skip both Iron Boots and Longshot most of the time.
Since I'm out of time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But no,
Every point is just special.
the 5 worst enemies in any randomizer ever. Number 5 is songs. Number 4 is that one Gwei.
You have to be more specific. I do Spirit Hover, so I'm personal
Yeah,
hatred of Giuseppe.
I was about to say, like if you're a standard player, you might be thinking about the Gwei in like Hylia, but the worst one is the one that's like for Spirit Hovering. The one fucking response as well.
Fair enough. 3rd is every enemy in Water Temple. 2nd would be Ice Shoes. because everybody hates ice chews. And the worst enemy
Ice
in
chews?
the worst enemy in Randomizer is yourself.
What is an ice chew?
It's like a chew, but ice.
Ice? Did I say chew?
Wrong game. That you're thinking Breath of the Wild. It's fine.
Oh, I meant the ice bats in Ice Cavern.
Yeah, the ice geese are the worst.
Ice keys,
Yeah, ice
thank
keys,
you.
I say.
My brain.
The names of
The
the
worst
enemies
enemy.
in
The
OoT
worst enemy
are
is the
kind of
logic.
insane. My favorite is that there is an enemy called Bubble in this game, but it is not the things that are literal bubbles.
Oh no, the bubbles are called Shaboom.
Yeah. Because,
Plop.
names are hard.
Well, no, because they saw ShamWow. They saw ShamWow
awesome.
like, that's a great name. Name it anyway.
I think Bubbles also Bubbles the enemy in OOT predates the Shaboom enemies that are actually bubbles. So they're like, well, we already named this other thing Bubble.
It always makes me think of the speedrunner Bubbles del Fuego.
Oh, it's a pun that makes it so much better.
Puns are the best.
Puns and dad jokes all the time.
The only way of life.
Of course.
It seems like in Water Temple, the boss key is just like in the worst position possible.
It literally is forcing you to clear out Water Temple, even though it's barren.
Mm-hmm. So gonna be River Chest.
It's going to be River or Dragon.
Yeah.
At this point, there's no other place it could be.
Ooh,
There you go.
It's River
Remember.
Chest. Ooh, ouch. It is truly barren. It's also barren of hopes.
I'm sorry, did Jin just try to shield the electric slide thing there?
Probably a reflex. Ooh, this is a very rough Baronade fight for Jin for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But got through it, so.
Oh, hey. Also just skipped most of this block pushing.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. There is. You can skip. This is another spot where you can skip strength. Like most places, they actually, quote unquote, require strength. This one, you do a ground jump to get out of bounds on top of one of the blocks. And then you can do a somewhat precise series of like slide rolls with the hover boots in order to grab the ledge.
That's what I said. Like when you're skipping strength, one of the most typical items you use for that is hover boots.
Also, that was
It
a
often
very,
allows you to
very
go
clean
in
and
or
quick
over.
Emo.
Morpha, you mean?
Morpha. God.
Yeah, very quick.
What is
morph.
wrong with my brain this day?
I haven't you overslept. I meanwhile haven't slept enough. So.
Yeah, no, I'm alive. Brain word memory things. It's all good. At least I got the type of dungeon right.
Yeah, it's water based. It's basically the same thing, right? It's fine.
Yeah. It's all good. Also, we were literally just talking about Baronade for Jin, so.
And when is Jin is going to think about using Song of Storms?
See, Dotso is going to be coming up on his boss key pretty soon, since I think it was in the bow chest.
It was in the bow chest, yes.
So it was unfortunate that his particular routing this time happened to have the boss key in one of the worst locations for this route that he did.
But it means that his way back is actually going to be quite quick. He's going to probably weird shot, doing a trick called weird shot to get back down, which is actually a camera trick that allows him to use hookshot while in the ground, essentially.
Mm-hmm. And here is Emo going to Ganon.
Yep, looks like they're going to win. Oh, no, Dotsu is not doing white shots.
He's probably doing this last check since it's still pretty fast, just hoping he finds light arrows. But
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes sense.
especially since it's the last check, I'm pretty sure.
Right, and if you go to Ganon, you skip this check, go to Ganon, he says it's in the Forest Temple, you're just going to go,
You throw your controller across the room. Yeah. At this point, it's fairly safe to say that Emo is very definitely
Going to win, yeah.
looking in very good shape for winning. Dotso still has to beat the dungeon as well as go grab the light arrows. Dotso has already cleared the interior of the tower, or at least partway up, but that's not going to make that much of a difference.
But yeah, like if there's any precedence, like any example to show that the most important thing in DDR is still the logic, you can see that like in Amo Soda right now. Like Dojo is the king of glitching and doesn't matter.
In this case, it also there's also, of course, an element of RNG of getting lucky with that first with the first item or the first hook shot being on lens minigame and that way of the hero pointing towards it.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of badass to see Dojo do weird shot without buffering. I actually learned to buffer weird shots even on emulator. Like it isn't that bad. But to see him do it without that, whew,
For
crazy.
reference, it have 3 frames to roll for the weird shot, and then you have 1 frame to pull the hook shot afterwards. So it's a 3-frame trick followed by like a 1-frame trick. Oh wow!
we also have to drop the shield.
Oh, hey,
And
we have a
Miraculous is finished.
Is
Oh,
this finished?
Miraxis.
Oh, Rex is
Yeah.
done. Wow.
And Miraxis is also the one we have to thank for these opportunity hints. It's actually Miraxis that coded it. So
Oh.
basically our request, and he very graciously added them for us.
Mm-hmm.
If you're interested in running this, you actually have to run currently on his branch. They're not available on dev yet. There is a PR for it.
You just ask someone to like generate them for you. Most of us, when we like do races in DDR, we just tend to use S3 anyway, like S3 hands. Practicing.
Also, I'm glad I said that name right.
Marexus.
Yeah.
I had to
I
actually
think it had to
ask
either
him.
be Miraxis or Mr. Axis.
Yeah, I actually had to ask him to find out. And it kind of makes sense in retrospective. And over here, in Dot's case, we see how...
Infinite Sword Glitch just makes this a...
Yeah.
Absolutely trivializes. I cannot picture doing the Phantom Ganon boss fight without ISG anymore. It's been such a long time.
I've been
We should
recently
have
doing
one-
glitchless seeds to practice the logic, and it's like playing Dark Souls. It's like so bad. It's like, oh my god, help!
Miraxis
Actually have the
finishes.
time.
while Emo's climbing the tower. If Emo's looking at that, he's probably going, well, damn. What do you mean, Ranger?
Looks fine to me.
Oh, yes, in DDR, you only need 5 of the 6 medallions to get Ganon's boss key.
We play with 1S, 5M, so you need 1 stone in order to access the Ganon's castle, and then 5 medallions to get the boss key.
Because with glitches and quality of life and all this, it just, you have options.
That's amazing. I love options. Like,
No, it's the
Like
setting.
both Emosoda and like Dotso are like about to like kind of like move out like Dotso. Emosoda getting the second spot here.
And Dotso's going to clip into the Double D Fairy.
Yeah, they use like completely different routes.
Also ISG to grab that skull. I wish I could do that all the time.
Well, you can if you decide to try out the DDR rule set.
And honestly, you should. Like ISG is actually a fairly easy trick.
Mm-hmm.
You know what?
I've accidentally gotten ISG a few times.
Exactly. And like again, let me remind everyone, you would be more than welcome to come to the to come over like to the DDR discussion channel and just talk to us, hang out, and just try out the rule set. And GG to Emosoda.
GG.
With 29, 39, 35.
Pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, every first Saturday after the restream, which would be like next week, we are doing a big DDR community co-op bingo. So we do a blackout bingo where we're all hanging out on voice. You don't have to be on voice, but if you want to, that would be really cool. Well, we try to get together to complete a blackout bingo board by requiring multiple completions per square. Highly recommendable. It's a lot of fun. No pressure. Everyone's working together.
Also a great place if you're looking to learn glitches in a very casual environment, since we have usually a bunch of people who know glitches. So and it more often happens that you'll get too much help rather than too little help. You may or may not have people recommending 6 different setups. So people are very happy to help.
Yeah, I tend to also enjoy giving people like life help. Like I taught people how to dot skip, and I would gladly do the same for like lots of other tricks.
I watched a YouTube video and then practiced B1 skip for a good 2 days. Till I had it down where I could do it every time.
I hate B1 skip with a passion. I
Why?
am terrible at B1 skip. I just usually hope I find bombs and then don't have to worry about it at all.
Mm-hmm.
We could pull in like Emosoda for interview probably. Yeah, awesome.
Yes, when it comes to Ocarina of Time, it's never can X be done, it's how can I do X. Because there's a way for it to be done.
There are very few things in this game that are actually impossible to do. There are things like, for instance, beating Twin Rova without Mirror Shield is, to my knowledge, not currently possible. But in general, if there's a will, there's a way. And there's an X will, so there's a way. Welcome.
Hello,
Hey,
Emosoda. GG.
Welcome. GG.
Hello, GG everyone.
You're pretty damn amazing.
Yeah.
Thanks. I think this suit is pretty cool. I think I made a couple weird decisions here and there, but I had a lot of fun with the hint distro. I think it's really good. Just from like first impressions.
You also got kind of lucky in that distro that we were wondering for the hint, the Way of the Hero hint in Castle, whether it was pointing towards the song, and then it ended up looking like it was pointing for that Lens of Truth for the hook shot.
Yeah, I could have gotten that a lot earlier. I kind of was trying to play a little bit close to all the good hints, and I wasn't really sure if I should push Way the Hero or the helpful area, because I kind of mixed those around for a little bit in the beginning, but that's not a huge deal. Yeah, once Bomb of the Well was just empty, and I mean River, you could get Bow and Magic elsewhere. I don't know logically, but just didn't seem very confident in those items being Way the Hero, and Graveyard, the Strength 2, just kind of know.
The strength. Our guess is that the Way of the Hero and Graveyard was for strength, because you needed to do Spirit Temple or Forest Temple, and both of those required A strength. Or those require A strength, but we're still trying to figure out the Strength 2. Our guess, though, is for that strength requirement.
I mean, I barely saw any Fire Temple, so I don't know what the key logic is past just the opening few rooms. I only had 3 keys, and then I found the strength there. So I'm not sure. Otherwise, hovers are just somewhere. I would assume.
Oh, that's true. Because I think you logically needed hovers for fire.
Also,
Yeah.
hovers were in Spirit Temple.
Yeah,
that's what I
hovers were
figured.
behind strength. That's probably it. I think you're right.
That's why I went Bomb of the Well first instead of Spirit, and then I went from there to Spirit, I think. But I wanted to get Skulls anyway, because it kept looking more and more likely that I needed Long Shot.
I think
pretty
you ended up
happy
doing
with
it
Skulls.
with Longshot and doing the Water Temple and Forest Temple. We're not sure what Emraxis did. He wasn't on Restream, but Dotso we saw found a Mirror Shield and Hook Shot, and then did Spirit Temple and Forest Temple.
Nice. Yeah, I just didn't want to try my luck at the Mirror Shield game. That just doesn't sound fun at all in most seeds, so unless it's in Spirit Temple, and I kind of doubted it. So I figured I'd go for the sure thing. I already had the hint that it was on 40, so it's like, fuck it. I'll skip this. Like, there's not a ton of things that can really speed that up outside of just finding Mirror Shield.
Mm-hmm. Mirror Shield was the first chest in Shadow Trial.
Oh, yeah. I was just not going to go Ganon's for a long time.
Unfortunately for Key, he actually did do Ganon's Castle fairly early, but forgot about that he had Song of Time for that check. So actually just completely missed the Mirror Shield.
Also, Jin spent 2.5 hours as child.
I mean...
Oh, he's actually adult now. That's almost surprising at this point.
I don't think he had anything else he could do as child.
You probably found Boomerang as child, right? On Man on the Roof, I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would do it.
And Dotso is currently fighting Ganon. And Key is in Water Temple. Actually.
So Keymaker being in Water Temple is kind of interesting since he can't currently beat it. But
Right.
I think he's opting to be there since he's expecting he's going to complete Water Temple anyway. Might as well clear it and hope you run into one of the items you need.
Mm-hmm. But he has the hint that water is barren.
Oh, hopefully he has that.
He has it
does,
marked on the
and-
thing.
He can't beat it, so he might have forgotten. He might have forgotten that he needs hover boots or long shot, and that it's barren. Either one of those two is a little unfortunate. Keymaker did say before the race started that he hasn't played in like months, so
Did
that
he
could
get
be
long
interesting.
shot?
Oh, then apparently he hasn't updated his own tracker.
No, he hasn't. No, but because he got long shot.
Oh, then yes, he can indeed beat this dungeon, so that's a good play. And I think
Then
we'll be
Dr.
5 for him.
finished is 248.16.
GG.
Apologies.
Mhm.
Yeah, GG
Yeah.
Veloso.
So Emo, someone who's more familiar with standard, what were your impressions of like the rule set? I'm not sure how much stuff you did that actually would be theoretically banned in standard, or if you just basically did a standard run. I didn't notice too much going.
Yeah, I basically played standard today. Sorry, I didn't want to cut you off.
Oh no, that's totally fine. Yeah. So yeah, I think in this case we clearly saw that kind of paid off in this seed. The route that you did ended up being really good.
Especially when we compare it to like some of the others. Like we've seen people cross the Gerudo Bridge as child and do GTG as child, more or less completely. And here we are.
Welcome,
Yeah,
Dotson. GG.
Hello, Dota. GG.
GG.
Hey.
I think my first impression of it would be it's cool. I mean, I'm aware of all the glitches that can save time, but there's nothing major that really came up. But I would have looked something up if I needed to, for sure.
So, Dotso, would you like to know where your long shot was?
That was literally my first question. Please
It
don't
was
say
on the treasure chest minigame.
Really? That's hilarious.
With lens
also,
at
your lens
the
was on
Din's
Pyro
Fire.
Castle Theory.
Nice.
It was.
I just don't really understand. Like, it seems that the Lens of Truth was Way of the Hero to get the Way of the Hero hookshot.
Yeah.
Why is that
Well,
Way of the Hero?
Neither hookshot's Way of the Hero. It was Song of Storms.
Yeah, that would have been my guess. That hookshot can't be Way of the Hero because it doesn't block the other one.
Yeah, but I don't remember what was in the well.
Prescription was the only thing in the well, pretty much.
Oh, okay, well then never mind then.
Like literally, the well was barren besides prescription.
And our current thought was that it was some really wonky logic for that hook shot because of strength requirements. We also think our current guess is that the graveyard Way of the Hero was for strength.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was for.
Since I think it logically locked the hover boots, as well as Spirit Temple, obviously. Or not quite obviously, but we guesstimate. It will be very interesting to see the spoiler log for this.
Yeah, you need
I can't wait.
strength. You need strength to do fire. Because the hover boots are locked by fire, which you can't reach Volvagia without the hover boots. So you have to go all the way to the thing, which needs strength.
Oh.
So that only needs strength 1 though. So
No, you need strength 2 to enter a Spirit Temple to find the hover boots.
oh, to find the hover boots, that's true.
So you needed the strength 1 from Dompe digging to do Fire Temple.
So would you be able to just go all the way up to the top and actually hit the block? Or key logic prevent that?
If you can skip the block, yeah. But logically, you have to move it, which requires strength.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, sorry, I meant because you only need strength 1 to push the block itself.
Yeah.
So if you'd be able to get all the way up to the top to actually knock down the pillar to access Volvagia with just strength 1.
Yes.
If the
I think it might depend on the strength, or on the key logic, but
So that was what the logic was. You needed strength 1 from Dompe to do that, to get strength 2 from Volvagia to get into Spirit Temple for your hovers.
Well, the hovers didn't do anything, so.
True, but they did lock Fire Temple from being completed without a strength.
Correct.
Logic, you gotta love it.
Yeah, no.
In this case, I think the opportunity hints might have been more useful in this case, since it was pointing you to go to river pretty early, which had magic as well as bow. Colossus, I think, had a bomb bag, is what it seemed to be, though that was actually bomb locked. So that particular one wasn't too useful, and Spirit had the hover boots.
Mm-hmm.
I'm mad now.
For that hook shot?
That, and you could beat the game more or less without it. Like, I played really badly. I should have went to Spirit earlier. And checked the sun's grave. That was, like, the stupid graveyard way the hero was throwing me off. I didn't want to orphan that.
Amazing glitches for stream. That's kind of like the important thing to me.
Yeah, though you didn't do we were talking all about the silver block clip that you're going to do in Spirit Temple because you didn't have Strength 2. And then you got Strength 2 and we're like, oh, and he's not going to show it lower.
Bailed out.
Baited. Dotso doesn't like fun, so he's not going to go for this. His insistence on going fast in races for some reason.
That is crazy to me. So, for you, Dotso, we actually, like in the meantime, Jin actually went to the desert as child, like he did the Mega Flip, and went GTJ as child.
That's
And that was
like
super,
normal play.
super useless.
Yeah, GTG was disappointing.
It wasn't Sphere Zero, though, because he did do the Mega Flip, so... It's not quite the mean Sphere Zero Requiem.
What was my other thing that I wanted to know? Oh, where's the Water Temple boss key?
River.
So there was no good choice.
Nope.
No.
Well, and it's unfortunate because we're commenting on like your route. I think like it was the second worst chest it could be for the boss key.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty awful. In that
If I had less hearts, I would have done jungle jump, and then it would have been faster.
Oh, Egg was commenting on that in chat whether you do jungle jump.
Not with 13 hearts. There's nothing to do enough damage, like to make it worth it.
Just hearts and GTG.
Yeah. I think I walked out of GTG with like 4 more hearts than I went in with.
Yes.
Oh, no. So unfortunate.
Oh,
I thought
awesome.
about not doing GTG too, which is like the worst.
Emo,
part.
I hate to say it, but according to my co-commentators here, you are banned from DDR for using the song to get into the well.
No, we actually gave you like a free check because you're like new to the rule set.
I thought about
It's
tolerable.
tolerable.
Yeah, but then I would have had to play songs, and it's faster. But
But you actually know
Like-
you actually know how to cocoa dive.
yeah,
Well, then you have to like do it.
Yeah.
But then there's no excuse.
Yeah. We gave you a free
yeah.
pass, but like now we have to retroactively re-DQ you. I'm sorry.
Shame.
It's the
There were-
rules that we have, in our hearts.
There were a
Yes,
couple
and-
things. There were a couple things I did to troll you guys, like like rolling instead of backwalking in a couple places. I was like, haha, but they're losing their minds.
Oh no,
I
don't think any of us
Oh no.
are there for are that level of optimization.
Oh sure, yeah, but
Yes.
Yeah.
Super non-competitive community is actually like, who cares how fast it is? Like the important thing is that you use glitches.
it was just this seed. I think nothing really came up that seemed totally useful for glitches in how I played the seed at least. So I just like it's a really small time save. It is a time save, but not really worried about it. There was no one done at that point, so I was like, oh, maybe I'm in first still. Who knows?
You actually almost were in first. We did not see anybody else that could beat you, and then Miraxis finished, and we're like, oh, well.
Oh.
As Emo enters
Yeah.
as you entered the Ganon fight, Miraxis is like, done.
Yeah, so I entered Forest and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to Spirit and I'm gonna find. Wait, I need Mirror Shield still? Fuck. And it's like, do I really want to go for that? And was like, oh, I can just go up to 40 and just do water, I guess. Because I was like, originally I was gonna do Spirit and Forest, but I was like, it's probably just too long and too risky. So
You wanna know
that's
what
why I
Mirror
kind of
should
went
was?
back. I had to save quit back to the beginning to get the first 2 skulls. Like originally I was like, no, I'm not getting 40, and then I was like, okay, now I'm gonna get 40. So I think I was that and the last 5 skulls were just too much time loss. I think I just chose not a very great route for the last 5, but overall, I think it was okay.
Keymaker for Skull route decided to grab the push the statue one in DC.
DC.
Ooh.
So I think your Skull route was pretty good.
Oh
I
yeah,
did all of Jabu.
Ew.
yeah, we noticed that. Also,
Part of the first time today as
run
well.
3 with a rate of 23. Welcome in to DDR.
I
We're
mostly
dancing.
did it for time of day because I wanted Dampe.
That's fair. Yeah. I guess it depends on when you
A
do
lot
it.
of those boss keys were in actually bad locations for most people's routes.
I think fire was like the one exception.
Fire's pretty good.
Yeah, Spirit was terrible.
Spirit was terrible. Water was river chest. Forest was bow chest.
Yeah.
Good thing I didn't roll the seed.
Yeah, I don't know who rolled the seed, but oh man, we should definitely send some hate mail their way. I think it was Golden.
Yeah, because gold's on there right now.
Yep, definitely Golden. Definitely him. Yep. I'm gonna go with that.
Definitely looking forward to playing more seeds with this hint distro. I think it's really cool.
That is great to hear. That is really,
Yeah.
I'm really happy to hear that.
We worked very hard on the hint distro, so we're glad to hear that people enjoy it.
It's a very
Yeah.
interesting show.
I mean, it's only 1 seed, so I don't need a bigger sample size for sure, but I mean, it seems good.
Thanks again to
Better than-
Emraxis for adding in those opportunity hints that we have. They're awesome.
We still need an actual name for them, right? Like didn't someone say that like someone else's like called like some other type of hint opportunity? So we have to think of a new name.
Also, GG to Cubs finishing 4th place at 3 hours and 37 seconds. Also, happy
Wow.
3 hours.
Happy 3
Yeah,
hours.
this is a really strong seed for standard. It's kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually like a really, I don't know, like it might be like a good advertisement for like people to try out the rule set. It's like don't be scared of like trying it if you don't know many glitches. Like it doesn't matter, as we've seen.
Mhm.
Sometimes
Yeah.
it matters more than other times, but it's fine.
It's already
though.
cool that you can choose your dungeons a little bit more.
Mhm.
So that's always cool to see.
Actually,
Figure out.
get the string for this seed. It'd be a good one to introduce people to the rule set with.
Sure, we can give you one. The one of the hint distribution is a bit difficult because it needs like a specific branch.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, we can give you a setting string.
Though if you are interested in like trying it out, we do have some asyncs in the DDR asyncs channel. So we have some there that use this exact distribution. So if you want to try it out, you're welcome to play around with those. And as we mentioned several times already, the logic is glitchless, so you're able to complete it following exactly the standard rule set if you desire, or following glitchless rule set. And you can just add glitches as you feel comfortable with them and as you want to.
That's a good
So
idea.
if you wanted to
Probably
run
doing it
around
right.
with infinite sword glitch on the whole time, you could do that.
Yeah, I'll definitely do one tonight.
Nice.
Nice. Hog.
Anyway, I'm gonna go catch lunch. Thanks for the restream though. This is fun. Definitely look forward to more DDR.
Yeah, thank you for playing and welcome to the community. I'm happy to have you here.
Again, on finishing very well.
Yeah, thanks.
And have a good lunch. We also have, if you're interested, we have a Plando file pinned in the DDR channel that has all of the setting information in it as well. as well as the hint stuff. So the hint distro will only work correctly on the Mraxis's branch currently, but it will at least have all the settings for you.
Speaking of Plandos, we actually also have like a bunch of like tutorial randos, like Plandos that could be interesting to you. We have one tutorial Plando that kind of gives you a seed that's kind of optimized for DDR, that has a tutorial video that kind of plays the seed by Gordon Zapinski that you can use as a walkthrough, and we have a Plando that gives you all the items required to do all the glitch-based shortcuts for all the dungeons. So that makes practicing to do these dungeons quickly completely optimal. That one's also available on the channel. Also as a walkthrough and a walkthrough, like a written and a video walkthrough.
I'm not sure what Jin's doing. Jin's standing there at the lake for a while, just kind of.
Jin is trying to mega flip into the passage between Lake Hylia and Zora's Domain. He doesn't seem to have like to be able to get the right. Yeah, what he's doing there is not he's doing the setup incorrectly. But essentially, you can do a mega flip that clips you into the ground. Into that shortcut, and allows Link in his adult form to actually quickly enter Zora's Domain.
No.
It's a pretty damn good trick.
Does it work with the Chew Mega? I know it works with, the bomb one.
It does. It works with like either Mega Flip. He's doing the setup kind of wrong now.
Oh, that does remind me. Dotso, in Bottom of the Well, you were doing a lot of blank A, and you were canceling it. What was canceling that? Was it the pulling the bombs?
Throwing a bomb, yeah.
Didn't know that canceled. That's very convenient for those checks.
It works with the Chew too, but like I can't get it to work all the time. I also have no idea why that works.
I think the reason is because of OoT.
I asked in the speedrun Discord once if there was a way to cancel blank A besides like the normal ones, and they were like, "Yeah, you can pull a bomb." It's like, okay, wait, what? It's because it's a 1.0 exclusive, and I don't own an N64. I'm not like super used to it.
Also, Keymaker just got their light arrow hints. So out
One
to
of
the
the
west.
One of the easiest hints you'll get for a location.
It's
the
in this
exact
one
opposite
step.
of a foolish for outside or a foolish for Wasteland. It's like, this is a useful item. You're like, sweet, I will take it.
No reason not to.
I wish I did choose a little bit differently.
In stream, or is that just me?
Yeah, Jin is buffering on my end as well. I can refresh and see.
Soon.
It looks like we lost Jin. Let me
I'm
refresh.
currently trying to load the stream, but it should be a stream issue.
Welcome to the chat room. Oh, refresh is making a while. There. Yep, we've just lost Jin. Did its internet cut out?
Possibly.
So my guess is internet, but we'll keep an eye out.
They're saying he's offline in the race room as well, so I'm thinking it's his internet. Also interesting that Key is deciding to go through Field.
Because he doesn't have
rather than warping to Requiem.
I assume he doesn't have Requiem.
Oh, no, wait, he's never been out there, has he?
His tracker says he has Requiem.
Oh.
Then, I'm not sure. It might also be just that he hasn't done Reverse Wasteland in a while, and so this is a lot more
That's fair.
forgiving.
That's fair.
Now, personally, I've always found lensless easier than reversed, but I think part of that is just because I learned it first.
I'm being completely honest. I suck at lensless and reverse.
I have a nice setup that's like super new player friendly, but it's slower.
I do
But
the
I don't care,
exact
honestly.
same
I'll take
route
the
for
consistency.
both. Like my reverse wasteland is just doing my normal wasteland backwards.
Interesting he's going for fire arrows when he has Dins. And
Yeah, the real strat is Hessing reverse the entire way from the start to finish.
Oh my god, Egg. It's literally cursed.
E-Maker going to use the power of fish against Ganondorf. Little known fact that Ganondorf is a vegetarian and is deathly allergic to fish.
I'm actually allergic to fish. So I can absolutely relate. If you wanted to defeat me, you would just throw a fish at me.
could always pelt you with shrimp.
Shrimp aren't fish.
So looking at the other players, X is currently also in go mode, finishing up dungeons.
Mm-hmm.
Currently being in her last dungeon, which is Water Temple. Shiro is currently going to Ganon. Or the Ganondorf. So she's also going to end pretty soon. Finish, I guess.
So it looks like the seed this week is going to be a lot closer in terms of finishing times compared to last week. Last week, I believe it was Dotso finishing around the 2-hour mark. And the next person finished around the 3-hour mark.
And Maple Star's doing Ice Cavern.
Last week's seed was absolute garbage, which, by the way, was also Golden that rolled that one. Is my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Yeah, it's always golden.
So
We haven't seen golden in 2 weeks.
I feel like the real solution to our problems is just to get Mirax's PR onto dev so anyone can roll, and we don't have to deal with golden seeds anymore.
Exactly. Yeah, golden seeds. Yep. Exactly.
Instead, we can get my amazing seeds. As we've seen yesterday, my seeds are amazing.
No,
Wait, well, it wasn't yesterday, but you know what I mean.
So, for those who weren't there last week, which is almost everyone in chat, last week we had 2 Way of the Hero hints, both pointing towards strength, which we didn't need. Also, the opportunity hints, I think, were pointing to not super useful stuff. It was like pointing to a bomb bag when there was a bomb bag in Mido's house. The hints last week were not so great. It did help tell you that there was something important in Spirit Temple, but that was about it. And the important item was logically required, but not required for PDR. It was real bad, real bad.
Also, welcome Raiders.
Oh, wait. That means Oh my god. Big Ron had a tunic. Because we exclude some items from the always pool, or from some pools. And Cub City never found one.
Oh yeah, Jen is writing me from their phone. It seems that he indeed lost his internet.
Oh well,
That's rough.
That's rough.
And apparently, like, he's trying to call his ISP, and it doesn't seem like it's going anywhere. So he's thinking about
Not
forfeiting.
sure what Key is doing here.
So right now he's super sliding into this fight. The thing that actually causes you to lose the Master Sword is tied to the animation of it like leaving your hand. So if you super slide in and you hold R the entire time, you never trigger that animation, and so you just keep the Master Sword through the first phase.
Speaking of, Shira also managed to slide into it, but she dropped the inputs, the Z and R inputs. So yeah.
You just need to hold R.
I thought you on. Yeah, it makes sense.
It's
That
this
actually
point in
makes
the run.
sense. It's a super slide, right?
It's this point in the run where everyone just holds as tightly to R as possible.
Mm-hmm. But considering we have hammer, it doesn't actually save that much time. It's just...
No, yeah, it only saves time if you do the fast setup, if you have hammer.
Yeah, this is extremely tight between Shiro and Key.
Yeah, so you actually had to go back and re-pick up the sword anyway.
Yeah.
Well, you have to re-pick it up anyway. Like, even if you keep it, you have to re-pick it up.
I think Ganon's actually invulnerable until you pick up the sword, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
And you can soft lock the game if you if you throw a bomb at him while you pick up the sword, you can actually soft lock the game. I had that happen once, and it was hilarious
Oh, it's
and
really
also
tight
sad.
between the two.
Oh, because the fire ring respawns.
I'm not sure exactly what caused it, but all I can say was my camera got messed up, and I heard Ganondorf swinging towards me and Zelda screaming a lot. So I'm not sure what
I
happened.
think Shiro was finishing first. Oh, this is super tight.
Never heard of that soft lock before.
Looks
Sounds
like
like
Key
the one on Ball.
Key finished first.
3:16:22.
I mean, she was going to finish soon in a moment.
Which means that the bot's a bit ahead of the actual restream.
Oh yeah, because like on my feed, Shiro was finishing first. Yeah, but they are extremely close to each other.
22-second difference. So this is a really nice seed.
Interestingly enough, like it's kind of funny because it's like quote unquote cock blocked by the hookshot being on Skulltodas. It's fairly rare that like no glitch usage gets you that good a time compared to DDR.
The correct way to play this seed was to go get Sunsong immediately.
And hey, Key.
Welcome, Key. GG.
Okay.
GG. Goodness, that was terrible. Yeah. Who rolled that seed?
Golden, definitely Golden.
Bring Dobby's head.
Oh, hey,
I'll have
Key,
you know, I only make fun of you a little bit when you pulled the Deku stick to skip the Navi text in Deku Tree.
Yeah, it's such a old habit.
No, you have to do that too.
So,
Oh,
Key,
yes.
you did Ganon's castle early, but you skipped the Shadow Trial chest. Like you had Song of Time.
Didn't have hookshot.
Song of Time.
Song of Time.
Oh, I always forget there's a Song of Time blocking there. I was thinking about that. And I forgot.
So, and that chest was mirrored.
Yeah, that figures. Honestly, with the layout, I guess I could have skipped long shot. That would have been nice.
Yeah.
But I didn't have strength 2 for a while anyway. Where were hover boots?
Statue hand on Spirit Temple.
Yep.
Oh,
Locked by fire.
the child side or the adult side?
Adults, no, not outside, inside.
On the statue on the inside, not the Colossus.
Oh, that's on the inside. Okay, so I couldn't have done Spirit anyway because I didn't have Strength 2 until after I did all the skulls. So it wouldn't have changed my route to get Mirror Shield early, unfortunately. Because I couldn't get past the silver blocks without hovers.
We also did enjoy your skull routing that involved getting the statue push one in DC.
Yeah, the Armos.
I kind of forgot Armos don't have fast pushing on them, and then at that point I was committed.
Yeah, once you touch it, you just have to keep going. Otherwise,
Yeah.
Also, hello Raiders.
I feel so bad. I sniped Shiro like crazy. It was like 20 seconds.
Funny. It was really close.
But yeah, I kind of
Excellent
forgot.
forfeiting.
I kind of forgot how bad I was at skull routing for child skulls, even with mostly because I just didn't have Sun Song, so I was just like struggling so hard with that.
guess what I did for time of day?
Keep on going to Ganon's castle and then going elsewhere.
Nope, I beat Jabu.
God, you're disgusting.
Also, thank you for the sub, Shiro. And she says, "Damn you, Key."
No, technically she said, "Damn Yuki." So technically, it's fine. She's not mad at you.
But yeah, I got like so far in the seed, I was like trying to avoid collecting skulls because I thought if I just found the other hook shot, I could skip it. And then I finally found it, and I was like cackling how happy I was. And then I was going through forest and skipping skulls, and I realized I didn't have hover boots for water, so I need a long shot anyway. So
yeah, the hook shot was mean because I saw that hint really, really early, and one of my first thoughts was I need to know the medallion layout because if I actually need that, it's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out we actually needed
so
it.
close to being able to skip it.
Yeah.
If like what was the medallion layout? Let me see. If instead of water or forest, you had Jabu or Shabu or Shadow, Shabu. Yeah, it would have been super easy to
Shabu and Jabo.
Yeah. And I was actually really worried early on we were going to be all dungeons for something off of Saria's song. That like one check was going to be something important.
I thought about that too.
Because it was just being too nice about giving us Jabu stuff.
I think the only thing I'm curious about is where Strength 3 is. Because Din's was on outside of Ganon's Castle Ferry. Yeah,
I got that too. The only strengths I got were Volvagia and Dampe. I don't know what the third one was.
Same.
We never saw it.
Yeah.
Did Emraxus get it? No, Emraxus didn't get it. So
I assume it's in upper.
It was in GTG.
Oh, was it?
Is it like
I never went deep into GTG.
Had Abo and Strength? Wow.
Was it behind the blocker in the underwater?
It had to have been one of those.
It had to be one of those.
That's all I have left.
Yeah,
so I only did
it's a strength block.
GTG without a hook shot.
Nice.
So I only did the
double
beginning
strength
area.
block strengths.
Nice.
Yeah, so strength in graveyard was way of the hero.
God, if it had been like light arrows on Saria's song check, it would have been so disgusting to get Din's Fire to do. Like, this would have been a horrible standard seed. Because you need to get the 2 strengths, use those 2 to get the 3rd strength, use that to get Din's, do all dungeons with that, and then go get Saria's song.
Yeah, even if we had to do it, it would have been funny because I did OGC before I went into trials, just because like metagame bullshit. And then after, because I had already done job, I was like, it just warped straight to Shadow.
Oh, Shiro waited the full time of day for Way of the Hero lens.
Nice.
Yeah, I waited for a couple.
Honestly, Dobby rolled the seed, I believe.
Yeah, I waited for a couple of day-night cycles.
Yes.
I ended up at the end. I was just like, I kept on save warping as adult, going to Ganon's castle, then going somewhere, then save warping again, going to Ganon's castle. Handy little trick to make it night, but
yeah.
And then, of course, at the end, I wanted it to be day, and of course, it turned night. And I had to wait around
Every time.
for day-night cycles. So that was, bad. Good D-Rust, but bad.
You guys happy with my skull routing? That was pretty much it. Everything else sucked.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
always
so when I was,
skull routing.
I
one of my
also
favorite
completely
things to see.
pointlessly. Oh, sorry. What were you saying?
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I was also completely pointlessly went over to Spirit Temple hoping there would be a hook shot on that opportunity hint. And then when I was going through Haunted Wasteland, well, one, I completely forgot to do the check there, which was great. And then two, it was nighttime. I had a ton of the particle effects on, and then also the sun had just come out, so I was like, I couldn't see the screen at all. Like real life, the sun came out, hitting my eyes and getting me clear. So I was like, where are these damn flags? I couldn't find any of them.
Jin, I'm so sorry, man. Yeah, Jin's internet cut out.
Oh, that sucks.
Bummer.
So we can add to that list of the enemies of Rando, internet service providers. We'll slide that in at number 6.
Like that in
The literal sun.
So no, we went over that earlier. So adding in internet providers as number 6, you got 5 being brain or memory things. Wow, I just completely blanked.
Brains apparently are number 5. Since it's considered enemies,
Perfect
Mad Monk
timing.
is confirmed not a zombie. Good news, everyone.
5 songs, thank you. Yes, 5 was songs. 4 would be that everything in water people. 3 is that one Gwei. 2 is Ice Keys, and 1
You
is
know
yourself.
the one.
It's
One's
funny because there are a
logic.
lot of bingo players here who probably also have a different idea of what that one Gwei is.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's different for everybody.
Yeah. Bingo
That one
players,
Gwei is whatever Gwei messes
Spirit
you up
one.
the most.
The Spirit Gwei is an asshole.
Absolute asshole if you're trying to learn Spirit Hover.
Yeah,
That
can
Gwei
also
is
be
literally the
chance.
worst.
if you're doing Spirit Hover, it's the Spirit Gwei. If you're doing Rando, it's the Lake Hylia Gwei.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Because like that Gwei at Spirit, like it'll be all over you when you're trying to do hovers, and when you're sitting there waiting for it, it'll never come. It'll just hover around you until you're ready to get to keep on moving. Then it'll come.
It knows.
What?
No,
It smells your fear. Ugh.
the NSA of Gweis.
Monka S.
Oh, I also enjoyed dying to Volvagia twice because I was too stubborn to go get a bottle properly.
The funny thing is, at that point, I think I had like 12 hearts, but I had taken so much random damage that I was on like 5, and then failed the jump to the door like twice. So I ended up just using Choose for the fight. I was like, screw it.
Yeah, I tried. I think I had 7 hearts at that point, and I was trying to do the chew strat, but I never learned it, so it was just not going well. So I died, and I tried to do the bomb strat, but I missed 1 bomb, so she went in the air, and so I just left and moved King Zora.
Could have done weird shot with bow.
Oh,
I
we
mean,
also
I could
did
have.
appreciate that after shit talking Rudo's letter, everyone used it. Everyone handed in Rudo's letter because they needed the bottle.
Yeah. I almost went straight to ice at the beginning.
Yeah. Did
'cause
I
we had
have Serenade
iron.
or Suns?
It had Serenade.
Oh, okay.
It had to have.
Yeah, I forgot
We got
Serenade
these.
was an option. I figured Suns there.
No, Suns was
I
vanilla.
should have thought to pick up Suns a lot earlier.
Yeah, I almost did the Shadow early super slide too, but it's so old at this point I don't remember how to do it. so I should have had Suns in under an hour, at which point I could have just done the lens minigame with Suns and gotten my hook shot for free.
Oh, you
Or
mean
you
you
get
do like the super slide
slide and-
teleport for Shadow?
Yeah.
And then you
Ooh,
unload.
wow, that
It was actually funny because everybody got long shot besides Dotso.
Yeah, you don't need long shot.
Yeah. I mean, if I had hover boots, I would have skipped it.
Yeah, I think if I didn't have mirror shield, it would have been a problem.
Yeah. Pretty much.
But I would have just gone to Hyrule Castle at that point.
Anyway, I'm going to leave all of you early because I am super tired. I'm just gonna fall over eventually and sleep.
Sounds bad.
No, that's fine. It's gonna be amazing.
Something on the way down. Like no hitting your head.
The bed's right behind
You
me.
like
I can't miss
lie
it.
down nicely so you don't hurt yourself.
No. I will go to bed in the same way that I glitch. Like I'm gonna put like a bomb in front of me. Actually.
Yeah, NSA this person right here, please. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go to bed. I'm like too tired to be like even remotely funny. And I know that's saying something because I'm never funny, but right now it's even worse. So I wish you all a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Be well, and to the people still watching, the people that are like not cringing, try out DDR. Come to us in the community. We're very nice, I swear. Most of us. Cool. Good times.
And special thanks again to the trackers for today, who did a fantastic job keeping track of all of the items. So thanks to Exadu, Ksinja, No Pen Name Girl, and Purple.
Oh, and extra thanks to VXR, the
Thank you.
restreamer.
And thank you for our runners that decided to be on Restream.
And for our runners who didn't, thank you as well for joining.
Yep.
Yeah, unfortunately, Jin had internet problems.
Yeah, it sucks.
So let's see what's coming up later today. 3 p.m. Eastern, on this channel at 3 p.m. we have a Skyward Sword Talk to Yorble tournament match. At 6 p.m. Eastern, qualifier number 15 for the OTR Season 4 tournament. And the Z2R weekly race at 10 p.m. Eastern. Also on ZSR_3. Yep, also on ZSR_3 at 3 Eastern, we have the Wind Waker bi-weekly fun. So that's going to be it today. We are going to raid ZSR2, which is doing the Majora's Mask Randomizer Standard Weekly. So thank you all for watching, and we will see you next time.
See you all next time.